I'm not looking at you, Richard.
Well, I'm just saying.
All right, are we ready? Stand for the allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, there we go.
You know, it's the cases like in human services where you're professional and licensed and you can't replace that.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
those are the real,
A CDL
well,
for
we
a truck
lose,
driver.
Yes.
I mean, we lose
Okay.
income, non-replaceable income.
Any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, under number 2, under the consent agenda, I would request to remove that resolution.
Okay.
And then also the board, I had passed out from our assessor with regards to his abatement, just some clarifying information. So I just wanted to make note of that. And that's all the changes that I would ask for.
Okay, anybody else, any additional changes? If not, I'll hear a motion to confirm the agenda with the changes noted.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, minutes. Do we have any minutes of the January 20th meeting?
We do have the minutes,
Do
yeah.
we have any, do we have any changes to the minutes?
That we don't.
I didn't have any.
I didn't dive deep, but I didn't see anything in.
What you got, Bill?
I got nothing.
I don't have anything either.
What?
I know.
I'm going to buy a lottery ticket.
Doesn't happen very often, does it, Peggy?
Well, with that, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next we have the consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything from the consent agenda?
Kevin's here, so I want to pull the number 5.
All right, we'll pull number
And-
5.
Well, let's do it, let's move it like right into Carrie's report, or Carrie under the administrator.
Okay. Any other changes to the consent agenda? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve items 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9 on the consent agenda.
All right, motion by Barry. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Madam Chair, just for clarification, do you want Kevin to go first?
Yes.
for my
Yeah.
report? Is that
Yes,
what you're
please.
asking? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's have him go right away, so we
I
don't,
wasn't sure if he was in the bus today, so.
yeah, so he doesn't have to be here so long.
All right, anybody on the open forum? No. All right. Well, we're just chugging along this morning, so we'll move on to reports and correspondence.
I'll go first. Very sorry, this is gonna be a little longer than normal.
Oh my gosh.
So
Anyone got popcorn?
this is what I'd like to put up around the county at some of our, this is that iWorks thing that we purchased last summer through the county highway. And this is just something I'd like to put up, hopefully people can use that. This goes right to road maintenance to improve that, to improve roads so that Jonah knows and can get out and fix it. So I just wanted to share that with you. Had transit on the 20th. Just interestingly enough, we're going to talk about the bus here a little bit, but we cut hours at the end of the year because we couldn't meet budget. But the riders seem to have adjusted, and our ridership was up 5% in 2025. We'll talk about the bus a little bit later. Does anyone know how many buses we have? Transit buses?
Kevin, probably, do you know?
No. Just,
doing it.
Or you did, is this, what is
I
this?
This is
think
just
we
a-
do.
I want to say 5, maybe 6,
we have 9 buses,
I'd say
or
no.
9.
and we're going to replace one, but good guess. But we're going to replace one. They go from 2012 to 2025 in range. So we're, yep. Well, it's actually bus number 5. I don't know if that's is that the oldest one? Okay. So I'll leave the rest for you, Kevin. I have the Pelican River watershed. I told you, everybody, that the Bucks Mills project has been awarded to Ashwell Company for just over $3 million. The watershed is just the fiduciary host. The DNR is pretty much footing the bill. The bids came in for between 3 and 5.8 million. So I thought that was a good bid. Watershed is also doing substantial work on Campbell Creek, north of Floyd Lake, stream bank restoration, a lot of work, but that can really change the dynamics of what flows into Floyd Lake. They're doing a lot of work up there. So that will be coming. It might take a while, though. Steve and I drove up to District 4, that regional C&D thing. We drove up to Clay County. We're still working on costs, possible hubs, things like that. So that's in the works still. Richard and I, on the 22nd, had that Zoom meeting with MPCA about the open landfill security rules. Carrie was part of that. Steve was part of that. And Carrie will update us on that. Had a Trail Alliance meeting. This is the one that's kind of led by Project 412, but I just sat in as part of the RAC. Mitch is sitting in on those. I do want to say, though, that I think there will be an ask coming of the county, a financial ask. We're developing signage, maybe a website to a landing page for all the trails in Becker County. We're talking about hiking, ski, bike trails, snowmobile trails, ATV trails, horseback trails. It'd be one landing
Public
spot.
accesses, swim beaches.
Well, we haven't got that far yet, but yes, hopefully. But the uniform signage is the one thing that really sticks out to me. That would be really, really good to have some uniform signage, but we'll see how that goes. We're still working on it. Environmental, solid waste management plan. We've got to do a 10-year plan every 10 years. And we're up in 2027, so we're working on that. Richard and I sat in on that. We reached out to Clay County and Otter Tail County, for that matter, and said, hey, would you guys like to share some of the costs? Because a lot of things are very cut and dry. They're the same for every county, and they both declined. So we'll just do our own solid waste management plan. You have to do it. I've asked Steve to come up with a priority list at the MRF. The metering drum seems to be something that would really save man hours and help us be a little more efficient. So we're working on that. Snow pusher is, they're getting one of those up there. We also talked about a scissors lift possibly down the road. That's not anything, that's something that's coming down the road maybe, and hopefully we could use that around with, over at Highway or wherever. County fee schedule. So we've got our fee schedule for stuff, but Steve has asked for, sometimes you got to move in a moment and it's not on our fee schedule, like this kind of stuff, like your water bottles are wrapped in. Sometimes we get bales of this. We don't really have a fee schedule for it. We don't collect it.
Where do we get bales of it from?
From a business in town.
Oh.
They're not the size of bales we bale, but they're shorter bales. So he's like, well, what do I do with this stuff? So, he's going to come forward with asking for some ability with like the ground wood chips, the pallets that we grind up. We're working on possibly a turkey bedding for that. So he wants the ability to move forward with that, either buying or selling some of these odd recyclable things. But we'll bring something forward with that, hopefully next meeting. Also this spring, March or April, we discussed having maybe a free tire drop-off day. Or
Tractor tires?
Richard, we discussed it, and we're considering, at least truck tires for sure. I mean, they pay county taxes too, so we talked about.
A limit, I'm assuming?
Absolutely a limit. We're working on what that looks like.
It might be weight, Barry, so maybe only a half a tractor tire. I don't know.
Well, most farms nowadays aren't carrying around a spare tractor tire. They're too big to handle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So either tires or appliances, but for this spring and as something, a freebie to our Becker County residents. We're working on it, but that could be coming. Richard and I at Highway, the bid came in for Westlake Drive. I'm sure you all saw it. So that was a good bid. Another question. So like County 40 we're redoing this year. So we're going to put 5,000 to 6,000 ton of ash from Prairie Lakes into that road.
How
So
much? 5,000 to 6,000?
5,000 to 6,000 ton of ash in that road. And I think it's about 1,000. Yeah, I thought it was about 1,000 ton a mile we could fit into there. But how much ash, does anybody know how much ash Prairie Lakes produces annually?
Yeah, I can call down there and ask, find out.
Okay,
25,000 tons.
no, about 11,000 ton of ash. So we could take half of this, if we could put in a road bed, I mean, we could really substantially reduce or get rid of that ash because that facility's filling up. We've only got 2
Is there a
years.
benefit for the ash in the road? Does it make it stronger?
It does. Yes. And Braun Intertech is working on that right now.
And does it reduce any other inputs for that asphalt? I mean,
Well, they're going to put base one into it.
no, but
too.
you know what I'm saying? So you're putting
It's not in the asphalt, it's in the under,
the base.
correct.
So is there any reduced base put under there? I mean, are we reducing the gravel?
I do not know that.
You know,
And
is
is
it,
it something
is it replacing
was-
gravel?
Townships can use?
No, so it's really a place to get rid of it. And so there is a little bit, some Polk County says there's a big benefit to it. Other people say there's not a benefit to it. But it is a place to get rid of that ash, which is now we're
is a
running
benefit.
out of room, we're piling it, so
And-
for sure. So it may be better, Polk County says it is, but it for sure it's a place to.
But
get rid of
does it replace gravel or, your regular?
Well,
No.
it does, it's 12 to 17% ash is what we're putting in there. So I suppose to that effect, I don't know.
So we're not using the same amount of gravel and then adding
No,
more?
we are, because there is a lot of strength in gravel, so, there's a lot of rock in there. I'm not sure about this, but
I was
don't-
just curious
I
if we
think-
can, if it makes a lot of sense if you can reduce your gravel that you're putting on there and using the ash as a blend in the gravel. I mean, then that,
I don't know. I
then
can
it's
ask
a
that
kind of a,
question.
Yeah, I
you're
don't remember.
saving on the gravel, putting in there and you're getting rid of your,
Do you know what the cost is to wash it? Is that a
Wash.
the ash to put?
Yeah, we've got to trommel it. Prairie Lakes takes on that. When ash comes out of a perm, I mean, it's got metal in it, it's got all kinds of stuff in it. So we got to trommel it down to a product we can use in the roadbed. But one significant thing is that in the ash facility, it's a hazardous waste. When we put it in the road, it isn't a hazardous waste anymore. So, I mean, there's some good going on there too. But reusing that we're working on it. And we can use about half of that ash that we produce in a year in the road beds.
on one road.
Yeah.
It's got to be new construction or a rebuilt road, you can't use it on a mill and overload.
No, we
So
can,
we gotta
no.
reclaim
And it's
it.
got to be somewhat close to
The prick.
where we store it, because if it gets too far away, the transportation gets too
Correct.
expensive too.
Yep. But Prairie Lakes is assuming the cost of transporting it. So, okay, so that's what's happening there this spring. Smart Tax was right on the money and tracking 3.8 million, so that's good news for highway. Barry, on the 27th, I had my first Magic meeting, the Minnesota investing thing, and it was a Zoom meeting, an introductory meeting. And I asked your question, do they reimburse costs? And they said, yes, there won't be any cost to the county for that. So, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had Prairie Lakes meeting on the 28th. Bond Guards, the cheese factory over there, one of our waste to energy facilities that uses our energy from Prairie Lakes. They were doing some work over on their facility, and it was where our steam line was, and they went away for the weekend, and they didn't insulate it, and we had a steam line break. So we're working on seeing who covers the costs of that, and it's in process right now, but it's going to be a $50,000 to $100,000 fix probably from the last numbers we heard at our meeting. And then I already told you about the ash there. 28th, we had a legislative meeting with Jim Joy and Senator Rob Kupek. Interestingly enough, they said it is a bonding year, but the bonding is a sure maybe. So that probably means not a lot of bonding this year. Had a lot of talk about property tax and the Minnesota fraud. A lot of people hammered him on the Minnesota fraud that's going on. And we talked about the M-State building uses. I think we're moving in there. We're moving forward with that just to see where we're going to land there. And then on the 29th, the last thing, Barry, I attended drug court graduation
Oh,
with judge
that's
ceremony.
right.
So I've never been to one before. It was
I was to a couple
interesting.
of those. It is interesting. Just the one thing on that meeting with Jim Joy and Rob Kupek on the M-State, I don't remember who suggested it, but I think it might have been Ron Zeman, suggested that maybe we get together as a county, a city, and a school district and figure out how we can use that facility. I think that was one suggestion.
If it's going to be a county building,
Well,
it
let's,
would be a county's decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is kind of what it,
we don't know any of this yet.
We don't know any of this.
Carrie's on it.
Yeah,
Carrie's.
she is.
Well, I mean, I don't want to co-own.
No, I
building with
I
the
don't,
city or
I
the
agree
school.
with you, but there was some talk about usage and. So
Well, the
it kinda,
usage is going to be all over the board. I mean, you've got, there's a half a dozen business,
I
related to that specifically.
I
that
just
could
got a
be
different feeling from when they said that. But, yeah. Yes.
And that's, Madam Chair, that's all I had for meetings.
I'll go next. So, Historical Society, they're on February 17th, which is Fat Tuesday for Mardi Gras. They are doing the Historical Society is doing a shrimp boil on Tuesday from 11 to 1 and from 5 to 8, and they're taking pre-orders. It could be a really awesome thing. I mean, they'll do to-go orders, and they'll also have places for you to sit and eat. So they'll do it upstairs of the museum where they have that. They're going to do it on that little patio they have, and then they're going to let people eat in that little area. The 5 to 8 it corresponds with the presentation or show that is being done at the community center, the DLCCC, and so they're tying it in with tickets to that. If they want to have the shrimp boil, they can pay a little more, and then they can come over and get it. They can get it to go, or they can eat it there. Either one.
When is
this? February 17th, which is Fat Tuesday. I know Fat Tuesday because I like to eat. So.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Tuesday and,
Yeah. Today's it's not this Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay, so, yeah.
is that, I mean, I don't want to ask the question.
Okay.
about the preparing food on site.
Yeah, no, there's a caterer's permit.
Oh, you got a caterer.
Yep,
It's like-
and everything's legalized, yep.
It's like,
legalized.
They're legal. We had to make sure it was correctly done, yeah. And the person that is doing the cooking is a certified food manager too, so, yeah, so everything's good. Yeah, we had to make sure that was
Good.
done right. And then I had a Sunnyside meeting. Barry was not able to attend. He was watching his daughter score 1,000 points.
it wasn't that night, it was the
Next night, yeah.
game. But
Yeah, it was
it
close.
could have been.
Could have been that one. So anyway, we ended our fiscal year in September. We hadn't had a meeting for quite a while, so we ended our year in September 30th with our fiscal year. And anyway, we had a bottom line of just over $1 million. Big part of that was we had a employee retention credit grant that we got for, it was about $450. 450, yeah. So,
450.
but the rest of that was, generated revenue from.
There was some grant money.
There were some grant monies for equipment and fix,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, it was a
It was a good.
wonderful year.
Yeah, wonderful year, yeah. So,
Couldn't ask for a better year.
yeah, currently, right now,
I do want to point out, though,
Yeah.
we are one of the very, very few nursing homes on that size that is profitable. I mean,
Yep.
and I think it goes to leadership out there. And full, you have to keep near full census. Right now, the first 2 months were right below that. It's
Yeah.
not significant, so
it's not as significant, it's down, but part of that is,
there's always turnover,
yeah, there's a lot of turnover right now.
not in staff.
No, in
residents.
residents.
So-
And then also too, they had a long-term retiree that cost them, they paid out the PTO, so that was a big right away hit. And then also the new pricing for resident, what is it, Medicare pricing? Or what?
The new rates are
The
coming.
new rates are coming out. They came out in January. So they haven't been they didn't affect October, November, December. So that's a big reason why too. It'll change around. There is a nursing home that is closing though that Minnewaska does manage. It's down south somewhere. I don't remember the name of it now, but yeah. So, and they tried, and here's another issue with that. They tried to get it to be an assisted living place, but if you do that through the state to get that license, there's so many things you have to do to change over that it isn't even feasible to do it. So they're trying to work on a process to adjust that so that they can actually use these places for other things. But yeah, so
Or similar needs.
similar needs, yeah, which is needed also. And then, we also approved a furnace replacement, and during this cold spell, or a little before it, one of the furnaces went out, and they repaired it, but they just decided to permanently repair it was not gonna be worth it because it was old, so they're gonna replace it and get a new one. Other than that, I think that's about it. Did you have anything else that you saw that you read?
Oh, no, we owe money on the building.
Oh, yeah,
We
that's right.
authorized to,
We authorized to pay it off.
pay it off to the county,
To the
so we'll
county.
have no debt.
No debt, yeah. I think that's 3.
And in our cash reserves is over 2 million right now.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
that is good.
So in our debt was what?
380. 380 something, yeah.
So Sunnyside cash reserves were 2 million?
Yep. And then, transit, we covered that. Fair board, Eric and I had a fair board meeting. So they have, and you're also on the senior council committee. So they're going to make sure that that's done correctly this year. They met together and they figured out, so they're gonna have an outstanding senior again award. They're gonna have a program, and they're going to have the introduction of political candidates that are running, like the Senate and the House and the commissioners and so forth. And then they're also talked to Dancing Sky, which is the area agency on aging, about possibly getting transportation for the seniors to go to and from the senior day at the fair. So they're gonna try to work on that and see if they can come up with some kind of arrangement to get them here, because I guess that's a pretty big deal for a lot of those seniors to go to that, and to get them there would be really good. And then one thing that they went to the annual Fair Board Conference, and one of the things that came out of that is Carver County has a junior fair board. And so they're gonna explore into possibly having a junior fair board. And what Carver County does is they don't require it to be 4-H members and whatever, FFA members. They open it up to everybody. And it's working really well for them, so they want to explore that. That would be kind of a nice thing to have. I think it would be a benefit anyway. And then they also are looking at accepting credit card payments, or card payments, not necessarily credit card payments, for the carnival wristbands and possibly getting into grandstand events, because
You might want to just skip that and go to like a Venmo or.
yeah, I
It
don't know.
might
if
be a lot easier than
Yeah.
credit card.
It might.
Yeah, they're looking into all the different
Possibilities.
options.
And then Barry and I had a sheriff's meeting, and the one big thing to talk about is the Larry Hill Act. So the Larry Hill Act is basically, in a summary, it says it shall provide incarcerated individuals with the same medications prescribed to those individuals prior to their incarceration. Okay, this causes a lot of issues. Yeah,
Look at it.
I have one also. This causes a whole bunch of issues with, so what it does is it creates more staff time to find out what these people's medications were. And they have to go back, sometimes they gotta go back 10, 15 years. Well, they can't even find that doctor, then maybe he doesn't exist anymore. And doctors are very hesitant to change anything or do anything. And so they can't, it's hard to them to adjust it. Like, for example, if an inmate comes in, who knows if they've been taking their medication for high blood pressure or something.
Or if it's changed.
Or
over
if it's changed over time. And so it puts a lot of stress on our nursing staff mainly, and it increases their inability, they have to spend more time doing this and less time doing other things that they really need to do. So what this is going to probably end up doing is probably might cause us to have to get more nursing staff in the jail. It's a possibility we could go from 56 hours a week to 80 hours a week.
At our meeting, I think what we discussed is we looked at, and we're having
Yeah.
more prisoner hours, we're having more revenue too from
Yes.
boarding prisoners. So that will help offset this, but what that law states is we don't really have the authority to say that this medication isn't needed for this prisoner even if it's not necessary anymore for, you can find all kinds of examples, but we can go from, if they're on a weight loss, I mean, we're gonna have to pay for
everything.
every one that they're prescribed for, and
Yep.
you could get extreme, so we don't have the kind of the jurisdiction to decide, the nursing staff and the doctors at sea don't have the authorization to change anything. So
Yep.
even if it's not, if it's deemed not necessary, we still have to provide it, and I think that's the.
So how, I mean, where do they get the list of medications from?
That's a part of the issue is.
I mean, it seems to me that,
That's
I
what's
mean, we
causing.
shouldn't be going back 10, 15 years for prescriptions that are
Shane
10,
might
15 years
wanna-
old. They have to be renewed, right?
Shane, you want to
Come on up,
give an
Shane.
update a little bit, or how
That's one of the issues is it's causing us to find that stuff instead of doing their own evaluation of what they need immediately,
Yeah, legislatively, this happened, and all jails are struggling from it right now, but what it took away was the ability for our correctional ACH, our correctional healthcare, to make decisions based off of what their care is needed for today. And it was a cookie cutter, whatever they're on, whether they haven't doctored in 2 years or, 3 years or 5 years, if they come in with those meds, or if their med list is that, you cannot discontinue a medication, you cannot change their healthcare plan until you've consulted with their primary physician. Well, again, some of that stuff may be, years old and may not be applicable. So, I mean, depending on what they're, if they've got, diabetes and it's lessened or gotten greater, you can't change that until you've consulted with their primary physician. Well, Friday, Saturday nights, et cetera, one of the difficulties is those physicians also have jobs. It's hard to get a hold of them. It may be a couple days until you can get a hold of them. And so it's just the legislature was trying to prevent jails from withholding medications from people, but a cookie cutter just continue with this regardless of how it affects, the inmate is where the jails are struggling, that it's not always in the best care of the inmate.
I think if it would have read, you must continue the medication they're on or have a reevaluation to determine why the needs changed. Something to give you a rational to say, their insulin needs to be doubled because they have no history presenting to us, and we have to keep them healthy. I mean, it's like,
Yep. And there's litigation currently going on from ACH against the state on this statute, basically saying this isn't in the best interest of either the state nor the inmate.
yeah, you could be required by law to give them inadequate care.
Yeah.
And that's the argument, is it's legislatively, you can't say this is what's best for the person. That's up to a licensed physician to say, I've evaluated this person today. This is what they need today, not what they needed 2 years ago that I have to continue with. And so to tell a doctor, I don't care what the medical benefit or non-benefit is, I'm going to make you do this by law and prescribe something that you don't agree with, there's a conflict in the law and what their medical license tells them they should do.
I think some of it too might have to do with, I would assume, now I don't know this, but I assume there's some jails that would not, some elective drugs they would discontinue. And we all might agree that if it's an elective or not necessary, that we can discontinue it. But with this law, we can't. So no matter what they're on, we have to continue it, even if it's not a necessary drug in their life.
Madam Chair, Shane, this seems like an easy fix to me at the legislature. I agree it was a cookie cutter thing and they need to, who is disagreeing with this or who is pushing back on this? Obviously, all the jails around Minnesota agree with what you're talking about, correct?
Yeah, it's created a lot of angst and anxiety through all the jails. It's a very hot button topic with all the counties that do currently.
So who's
have deals.
supporting it? Who's saying, no, we got to do this? I
I
mean,
imagine a human rights group, because I imagine there was something that happened that triggered.
Probably the Hill.
This issue
Water
also
State
was,
Doctor.
was brought up in public safety at AMC. So I'm guessing that it'll probably be a platform item for this coming year.
But it'll be something for those of us going to the legislative.
Yes, to bring up.
Conference in March to
And
speak to our
Jim
legislators
Joy
about.
and Rob Kubik know about it.
Okay.
I brought it
You
up.
know, speaking of that, Carrie, maybe when we go down there, you have give us
Yeah.
a kind of a talking point list for our
Yeah.
county specifically.
So
And
that we
this will
don't-
be a general one that we can hit on.
Ramble off and everything.
Oh, we need talking points.
Yeah. What else? There was one other thing that we wanted to bring up.
Thanks, Jane.
What was it? Was it the impound? Yeah, it was the impound storage building update. I don't have my,
Well, just
Yeah.
to go back to that, this will maybe be coming back for increased medical costs, and we've asked.
Oh, yeah.
We've asked Sheriff Glander to try to show where that where that money can be in budget, if we can, because we were over, but we were higher than expected in our budget for income last year, so, but we're talking probably $100,000 increase in nursing, and it's significant, so.
and we were above our inmate revenues for housing inmates, and we have increased the federal inmate, and that didn't go for the whole year. So that'll help, and we are also looking at possibly increasing our other county in pricing.
Bringing, when.
From
we
other
have
counties come
county
in,
inmates.
increasing that rate per day too. We're looking at that, because other counties are charging more than us. And so yes, there's a good chance that there will be enough revenue to cover this, because but it still is an unfunded mandate basically from the state of Minnesota. That's what I was really not happy with. Is it what you?
That's about it.
Okay.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Meyer, going back to the fair board, you said something about giving seniors rides to the fair. Is
Yeah.
that something that our
Yeah.
transit would be
That
involved in?
we could try that maybe. That was a thought of mine.
It wasn't more rides to the fair, it was more rides around the fair, like,
Oh,
to,
Within the grounds?
like a golf cart or something where,
Okay, yeah, I guess that was.
just for that senior day during that senior program, that there would maybe be a couple stops if we wanted to pick up at the parking lot, go to the barns, over to the 4-H, so that it's easier for them to.
Yeah, that was, and I think part of it too was getting to the fair. Yeah, that was probably.
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, so you aren't gonna have golf carts. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, so we could have someone pick them up. That would be easy to figure that out.
mm-hmm.
The bus usually comes right up to the beer garden there.
But if it's busy, then it's hard to get.
Well, then you get people out of the way.
Just drive them in.
Yeah, that alleyway should always be open.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and then I also had a DAC meeting, and we met again with Brad from Hammers Construction, and he presented us a preliminary design for a remodel. And our next meeting, he's going to bring back pricing and a timeline for the design that we preliminarily selected. So it's getting closer to getting that, and it's pretty much an entire remodel of the inside. So we're excited. Hopefully it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, but we're committed to, that's a huge thing that we need to do to make our DAC better use of our space will allow us to do more services for our clients. And then in turn, we should be able to attract maybe more clients to come to our DAC also. We also had a personnel committee meeting where we interviewed DAC employees, guardians, and adult services from the county, and we also interviewed the Detroit Lakes Public Schools transitions program people, and we just wanted to find out what we needed going into a remodel, what services we need to do, what things we need to do, and we also are currently in the process of we were in the process of figuring out how we want to handle our executive director vacancy. And so some of the big things that came out of that is we need to get our clients out of the facility more. But when I'm saying all these things, though, we are doing these things. When 3 years ago, we weren't doing hardly any of these things. Now, so we're doing more of these, and I want to say that we have great employees right now at the DAC. Our managers are doing a great job. They have made the DAC a better place to be. Now we're trying to figure out how can we make it even more better. Or more better, is that a word? Or betterer. Better.
More better.
Make it best.
More betterer, yeah. So we need to get the clients out more. We need to challenge the clients more. We need a community presence to educate the community on what the DAC does and how they do it and how it works. We had an overwhelming consensus from most of the people that we talked to that we needed an executive director, because that executive director could be that community presence. We need to offer employment options. Like right now, we do our employment services, which is where our clients go out and work somewhere, or work at Pizza Ranch or whatever. We only do it from like 8 to 4. Well, there's jobs that are not just 8 to 4, so they wanted, especially the county wanted us to really look at exploring doing other services at other times to make our employment a little easier and better. The overall consensus, though, is that DAC is heading in the right direction, but we need to keep going, doing more, and making things better. Like I said before, the DAC has great employees, we have 3 great managers that are doing a great job, and they're really running our DAC well, and we're working on improving the perception, the services, everything we can do with our Becker County DACs. That's it. I'm done. I think I was less than Phil, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you went on. Madam Chair, we had sheriffs with Dave, had an MRC Zoom meeting yesterday, very short meeting. But there's a potential bill to come before that's being introduced to charge a 10-cent per bottle fee for plastic bottles. And we had a legislator speaking on that, and just it's not going to help reduce it, just a fee to help. And it basically was to help. A big portion of this was to help rural water in small towns that can't afford their water systems and treatment centers.
So the 10 cents would go towards,
It would go to a fund that helps with updating the water and sewer, I would imagine, in small towns. Talked about e-waste reform. Talked about the acronym of MAA. There was
just say the act.
the act. The act was discussed. There's a work group out there. They were reporting about the costs and the county's needs for the resources to help with those costs. They also said that, Hennepin and Ransby got a rollout and got paid, so they wanted to try to work that smaller counties should have that same rollout financed by them. But this work group also recognized that IT had to be modernized before this goes forward. So.
And and the system is not going to be modernized for at least 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully that can be just pushed down. And and again, I think this was bipartisan need that
Correct.
saw this, but the magnitude that if you can't just throw it on and hopefully everyone gets it. So hopefully it just works, kind of like our MinLARs, right, Mary? The only other meeting I had was the Lakeland Mental Health. Our annual meeting is in February. If you wish to attend, it's going to be very short. We were right at neutral. We didn't meet budget, but we were in positive. Nothing significant either way there. And we'll have to reappoint Peter Jacobson today unless there was other nominations or. I think that was it. My daughter did score her 1,000th point last week. It's kind of
Nice,
exciting for us. She did a nice job. We were worried she needed 10 up at the Menominee-Waban game. We were worried that she was going to be nervous, and she scored 10 points within 5 minutes of the game, and
nice.
and ended up with 27. She was. Yeah, it was
Awesome.
exciting. We ended up losing last night in a real good game to Frazee. Frazee has a nice team, and hopefully they do well and move on and go far. So we have really good girls basketball programs around this area. They're fun to watch. When good basketball is good basketball. So.
All right. Mr. Giovanni, do you have any?
Well, I had environmental and highway with Phil. He's covered that. I had a safety meeting. No serious accidents since our last meeting. We do have a couple slips and falls, so people with slippery shoes should get some rubber boots. Leave your shoes under your desk.
Very good advice.
Yeah. And then we're finalizing where all these AEDs are going to go in case somebody needs to be shocked. So we're going to get them up and signage so everybody.
Let me try them all.
No, I tell people if I'm down, just leave me go.
Okay.
But,
Next.
yeah. So, but that's all I got.
All right, I can go next or last. I had the EDA Housing Committee. Our RFP for the Maple Avenue project will be published on Saturday. We will have the bid opening on March 6th. So hopefully we can get some competitive bids for that, and then we will be able to approve it at our March EDA meeting, and then we can bring it forward here. Also had Mahubi Atwa. They're currently looking for bids, and there's an RFP out for their tiny homes project by New York Mills. So this is the project that was
9 homes, isn't it?
Yep, was originally planned for Becker County, but that application was pulled, and now they have purchased property by New York Mills, so they're looking for contracts to build those homes. That RFP is out until February 6th. So anyone interested? And they're also looking for contractors to do some work at the Mahubi building in DL to remodel a warm garage space into meeting rooms. Another thing about Mahubi is they manage our child care assistance program for Becker County. So just some statistics on that. In 2025, the child care assistance program assisted 61 families with 108 children for a total of $407,296 that assisted those families. That was the lowest since 2022. And just to compare it, in 2024, there were 86 families that were on the child care assistance program with 142 children for $456,854. Their Head Start enrollment is right where it's supposed to be. They, according to continue to be eligible for their federal funding, they have to have, I believe, it's a 90% enrollment. And their early Head Start enrollment is at 95% in December, and Head Start was at 99%. And that is for the 5-county region, not just Becker County. Also, just to note, they have opened are now accepting applications for their tax aid for their seniors. So it's very important that if you want to get your taxes done through there, that you do it, because 3 days after they started scheduling, they had 450 appointments scheduled. So those are filling up fast. Then just some quarterly updates from the dental, Apple Tree Dental project that is going on in Detroit Lakes. Sometimes Jane comes in, I believe the last time she came in and gave an update, but they have the outreach site in Detroit Lakes. In 2025, they had a total of 1,653 appointments. And so far in 2026, they have 79 appointments. So, no, I do not have a rate of cancellations. She doesn't mention that in her update.
I would think that would be a higher rate of success. Because
they only provide care 2 days per week. And then they also have mobile programs through Head Start. So, but I don't know how much of.
If you think of it, it's no.
Canceled.
If you think of it, to bring that number, if it's better than or worse than normal.
Yeah. But they're hosting a dental resident student from March 16th to April 16th, so that will help in expanding services, because staffing does continue to be the the limiter in expanding those services. They, just a funding update, federal and state grants are being utilized for both the Detroit Lakes outreach site, and then they're expanding the project in Holly. But they continue to also accept and utilize private community donations. That is all I have, but I did just want to add one thing on the Fair Board. That we had a lot of talk at the Fair Board after they came here and spoke with us about, because one of the questions that was asked of them was how many people attended. And we had a lot of discussion on how we could figure out what that number is. But because we don't, the Fair Board doesn't charge to get in, there's really not a good way of doing it. So they talked about like rearranging the fencing so that you funnel them through one way and get a counter. And so, I mean, there's going to continue to think about ways that we can figure out how to count that attendance. But the conclusion was really without charging that.
What's
that fee, it
the
would be
benefit of
different.
counting? I mean, what's the, what?
That's
what would
part
you-
of why they don't want to
You don't want to spend
necessarily
too much
put any money in
'cause
it.
It's just, oh,
That
okay.
was my comment.
I mean,
or make it difficult for people to get in if we're going to funnel them all to one door or one gateway. And
Madam Chair, I think knowing what you have for numbers is good. Unique visitors is, it's a 3-day event. If you have the same person come in for 3 days, how do you count that person? So there are some problems there, but I mean, you got to start with some numbers before you.
yeah, I mean, they have
I
numbers to
think
grandstand because then you have to
So that's a
purchase
paid.
tickets. But otherwise, that was all I had.
Madam Chair, your Maple, can you give me those Maple Hills numbers or Maple Apartments?
The Maple Avenue,
What was that? The March 6th you were approved? When is the bid opening?
March 6th.
March 6th is the bid opening.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it'll go out, I believe, this Saturday.
Thank you.
Yep. And that's all I have. Anybody else have anything before we move on to appointments?
Madam Chair, just something to keep on your radar, the Eagle Lake swim access.
Oh, yep.
I think that's closed. I think the Lake Association is closed. It's something that we were looking at for how we help with that. So just keep that in mind coming forward.
I was thinking it was the same thing.
Do we
And
do we know where that is with with
Madam
DNR?
Chair, I can give an update on that. So the investment group, the nonprofit corporation purchased it from the city. That closed a week or 2 weeks ago. I put the person in the nonprofit corporation in touch with Dave Schatzko up in Bemidji. He's the head of trails and accesses like this. Don't know exactly where that's going to go. Mitch is aware of what's going on.
It'd be nice if we could have a state-county partnership on getting that.
What does that, what do you mean state?
They pay for it, we manage it.
That's our, I've already. yeah.
If I may, Madam Chair, I had a conversation yesterday with regards to this topic from the DNR, Ben Berge. So he was talking about, just like you said, it's moving forward. One of their questions is there's that park there. And whether, the DNR isn't in the business of managing parks. So the conversation then went from, a partnership similar to with Becker County as far as looking at managing specifically the park piece of that, if we would like, and, probably other additional things. But the conversation started yesterday, so.
Madam Chair, and we can, I want to help facilitate all of that. Some of that equipment that was brought in was used when it was brought in, so we can work through that.
Right. So, yeah, that conversation, yeah. So the questions have already been asked.
Okay,
So.
perfect.
All right, anything else? All right, we'll move on to appointments. Barry, you had a.
Madam
comment?
Chair, I haven't talked to Peter, but in the past, I've talked to him, and he's retired from the DLCC now, and he brings a real good benefit to Lakeland Mental Health. Hopefully he's willing to serve again. If he's not, we'll have to revisit this, but I'd like to reappoint Peter Jacobson.
I'll second.
All right, we have a Motion by Barry to reappoint Peter Jacobson and a second by Dave. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, is he willing to serve again, or we don't know, or?
Well, I haven't talked to him lately. I believe so, because in the past he said he's anxious now that he's retired, he have more time to give this. But if he hasn't, we'll have to revisit this. If he's not willing, I'm pretty
So we're going to appoint him, and if he's unwilling, we'll,
he'll not accept it, but I'm sure he will accept it.
Okay. Any
But I
further,
haven't talked to him specifically recently, though.
any further discussion? If not, I'll call a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried. On to county administrator report, and we will first do transit. Morning.
It's for the purchase of one new bus for Becker County Transit. The total dollar amount is $165,322. Our local share will be $16,532.20.
Was there a reason it was pulled? I mean,
I pulled it because I just wanted everybody to know that we need, what we're gonna pay and what funding are we gonna use to pay the 16,000? So that's kind of what I just want to have, just inform you guys on that.
Yeah. So, the state wants the county to pay for the local share of the bus, but we've been able to pay for the local share of the bus out of transit reserve. And there again, we should be able to pay for this bus out of transit reserve. So really haven't had a vehicle, this will be the fourth vehicle that the county hasn't had to put any money into.
so you're just saying in the future, we may have to budget for
Yes.
purchase the 10% share of the bus?
Yeah, because
is-
Yeah.
the reserve is coming down. So at some point, and then, honestly, we talked about this a little bit of finance yesterday. The fact that we're getting these buses for 10%, years ago was always 20%. And, they increased our local share requirement off our operating grant this year. And I see that transitioning over to what we pay for a bus. It'll go back to the 20%. Hopefully not. But the talk is already out there, what in 27 and 28, what money is going to be given to transit is going to be less. And
What's-
not only on the state side, but on the federal side.
What's the statute requirement for us to provide transit?
Everything's referenced to the Olmstead Act, and it's based on the number of people in the county.
Over 30,000, right?
30,000.
But, I've been talking to the state previously, because Phil, you kind of brought this thing up, and I asked for information on what specifically says we have to have or provide transit. Really didn't get any answer. Like, they didn't reference the Olmstead Act again, like they always have.
So transit for us could mean 9 buses or 2 buses.
Right. That's, and that's really
Or a
up,
van.
What?
Or a van.
yeah, the amount of service we provide, that would really be up to the commissioners. Do we want to not go to Audubon anymore, not go to Frazee, not go to Lake Park, restrict our mileage to maybe 5 miles out of town? Because that would, most of our rides are in town.
Yeah. Madam Chair, Kevin, you said that 80% of our rides are within a few miles of Detroit, 5 miles of Detroit.
Yeah, and, we're supposed to be Becker County Transit, and the state looks at us as a county-wide service. But, we have White Earth to the north that provides that service up there. We don't go north of, we don't go to Callaway or anything. So when it comes right down to it, we can reduce the number of routes we run. We could reduce the number of hours we provide. We could cancel service on Saturday altogether. But when we do that, then we have to go back to the state and let them know that. And then they can do an amendment to the contract and say, okay, well, we were going to give you X amount of operating dollars. Since you reduced your hours of service, the number of routes you have, cancel the route on like Saturday, we're going to reduce what money we're going to give you for the operating. So it really kind of depends on what,
Where the needle goes.
The
yeah, how
balance is,
far
yeah.
we want to go out and so on and so forth. Because the longer the ride is, obviously the less, revenue we get and towards expenses. And
Madam Chair, just, for equality, we've had more rides in Becker County than they did in Otter Tail and Wadena, and they both received more funding than we did, right?
Yeah, and
This funding formula, however they figure that out, is you try to do better, you have a reserve, and they take your money away. You reserve money to buy your next bus, and they don't get it. We got $16,000. It's a pass-through from federal. The state is holding it. They're not giving it to us. Why? Nobody can figure it out.
2024.
So
We've been waiting for it since
Yeah.
2024.
And it punishes people for being fiscally responsible. And that's our.
So right now, we're
yeah.
trying to drain our reserves so that,
They give us more money.
they give us the money they said they would give us.
Yeah.
Not even more.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another thing, just, the one thing that has been discussed at length with the act, the Minnesota African American Family Preservation Child Welfare
You don't have to
Disproportionality
say it
Act.
every time. We know.
The thing with that, one of the
So,
pushes for that is additional transportation. Transportation is going to need to be provided to appointments, to visitation. And so whether that is one of the things that they consider for funding, rural Minnesota, of course, rural Minnesota doesn't have the luxury of what the metro area does with their bus system. And it's a little easier to find the rides to visits and appointments. But that's one thing that I think we need to keep in mind if we're going to, as we're moving forward with that in 2027.
And on a positive note, I had a meeting with the state on Friday, and they're finally addressing the fact that agencies that, have more hours, have more routes, actually have more riders, they're finally coming up, or say they're going to come up with some type of system to make it fair. Now, there again, that's all fine and dandy, but when the rubber hits the road, and we will get a chance to kind of dispute how they do this and put our impact in, or feedback in on what we think. Because obviously the first couple of years of this, if they do actually pay for performance or fund per performance, however you want to say it, it probably will be not, still 100% fair, but it's better than what they have right now. Because, I was telling the finance committee, we do more rides in Wadena and Otter Tail Express, but we don't get the same amount of funding, we get less funding. So, and that kind of gets grandfathered in over years and years and years. 5% increase of $1 million is less than, or more than a 5% of 500,000. So these agencies then that have been getting more money steadily get more money and get more money and get more money. So hopefully they got that solved.
Madam Chair, with that, I will move to approve item 1B for the transit bus purchase.
I will second that.
All right, we have motion by Phil, second by Dave. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. I would like to mention one thing before you leave. So originally, this bus was going to cost $180,000, and Kevin did a good job of trimming it as much as he could. So that $180,000 would be identical to the bus we just purchased
For 150.
for $156,000. The options were all the same and everything. So that's how much these have increased in, 2 years?
Yeah, the bus that was the 157,000, that was ordered in 2022, and it was amended a couple times just because it went from 97,000 to 125,000 to 157,000. So hopefully we don't continue to see 15% increases on these larger dollar amounts of buses, because it's getting ugly. So
All right,
Thanks, Kevin.
thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right,
Madam Chair, do you want to go on to soil and water since he's here?
Yeah,
Or
we
do you
can do
want
that.
me just?
I
to
mean, either-
continue? I don't, I'll let you decide.
well, maybe we'll move to 245th since they've been waiting also.
Oh, true.
Yeah, and then we
And
can
then
move
go
to-
back to my report after
Yeah.
that. You want just out of order?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Madam Chair, as you recall, the members of the board, This is the, as we know it, the landfill road. So I've met with the township. We did have a couple of meetings with the two commissioners and myself with the MPCA, just really ask questions. This board is interested in, what would it look like? What kind of approval would we need for securing our landfill if at the time that this road were to become public and the gate would be removed? So those meetings went fairly quickly. There really wasn't requirements, but the decision or the suggestion was is that we move forward and start getting and putting some pricing together for fencing. The MPCA, which I had shared with this board, asked for a plan to be put together and submitted to them for consideration of how we would propose securing our landfill in the future if the gate were to be removed on the 245th. So that was submitted. We did get a response back, again, which I shared with the board, of approval of that. And, there's some other additional details that I know questions have come back through Steve that are the fine details, I'll call them, are being, worked through as far as gating and how this would impact operations out at the landfill if all of these pieces were put into place. So cost, originally there was an estimate on fencing back, I don't know, I say last summer probably, $114,000 for that. And then again, you're talking electronic potential gates and some additional things wiring into those gates to make them operational. So you're probably looking, again, rough estimate, probably roughly right around 200,000 that you'd be looking at spending. I was asked the question again when we were on the call with the MPCA, and if I'm missing anything, commissioners, please feel to jump in as well, is, with the securing, there wasn't, again, requirements specific to what type of fence and those kinds of, because those were some of our questions. I did send another message back through just asking, is it acceptable, to do barbed wire fencing for the landfill on both sides? I haven't received a response yet as of today. So that is where we are. That is my update.
I just want to make a couple points. So when we met with the pollution control, they didn't say we had to have chain link with barbed wire. They said it all depends on the landfill. They said some landfills use rocks, some use poles. So to say that we have to spend that this hall has to be chain link, and it's too bad that we don't know this. We've been at this since June. We failed miserably at finding out how to secure this landfill. So we don't know that we have, and we don't have to have electronic gates. Just put a rolling gate.
I think we have to have electronic monitoring of the gates.
And you could have a camera there, but
cameras.
So a rolling gate is different than a hinge gate. It goes right through the snow. For years I opened my gate in the winter because I didn't want to run the heater. Now I'm lazy and I run the heater, so I just push the button. But they're easy to roll open. You roll them open in the morning.
Right,
close them at night.
The concern that I read in the letter is if someone comes down the township road and can access your property from the backside without coming through the main area, without, that's what I read in that report, that's the concern. So, we have to be able to monitor that with a camera.
Yes, and have some signage, some strong, so we put some strong wording on some signage. And the biggest concern is somebody might dump something there illegally. Well, nobody's going to steal anything out of the demo landfill or the wash machines and dryers. And if somebody does, I guess I don't have a problem with that. But
they can steal all they want.
Yeah,
no, they can't. That's because there are some rules.
So it's really that is not a big concern for me. I'm failing to see.
I think we could satisfy the request to have cameras at the entrance, but on the like by the county road where the township road comes in, and then back by the areas where the gates open, where we cross that road.
So Barry, are you saying we not to do the fencing?
Well, I would say we meet what's required, but if it's not a 8-foot chain link, we don't put 8 feet.
No.
I think we we minimize that as much as allowable.
And I think if we have to find somebody to deal with the pollution control agency and get that information, because we haven't been doing it. We should have done, we should have known the
Well,
minimum a long time ago.
It's difficult when you deal with these agencies because nobody wants to make the call because the next step up will make it different and the next step up will make it different. I mean,
And you
so
have numerous people.
Yeah.
And you're also.
you're going to get 10 different answers.
Well,
when you
you're
come.
also dealing with a closed landfill and an operational landfill.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with two different sets of people.
And yeah, two
What,
groups.
whatever it is, we've got to change the way we're doing it because we aren't getting it.
But we've got preliminary approval,
Correct.
preliminary
Correct.
approval to
To
man,
secure the
how to
landfill.
move forward.
The
I think.
preliminary approval, though, is going to cost us $200,000.
No,
It may.
not
It may.
necessarily.
Well, how
Oh, that.
The current
the
plan.
current
Yes,
plan that has been
maybe,
approved.
but with they don't care if we have electronic gates. We're not gonna run wiring all the way over to those gates and put operators on those gates. They don't need that. All you gotta do is get out and roll it open. And so that would be very expensive to put operators on them gates.
What would we have to do to get cameras out there? Do we have to have that
You'd
be
have to have
wired in?
Wi-Fi.
Can we
You
have
don't
Wi-Fi cameras?
You can use some of these, I think we could get by with some of these game
Network cam-
cameras that.
There you go.
Trail
Yeah,
cameras.
We could.
They're
Okay.
not game cameras, they're the next step up, but they're not nearly as expensive as
Yeah.
running Wi-Fi out there.
Madam Chair,
So that would, I think that would suffice the requirement. Like you said, it's not something they're coming into, you know,
Madam Chair, I'm still trying to separate, are we dealing with the township on the road issue? Or are we dealing with access for Ingham who wants the access? Because to me, they're exclusive of each other.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
And so John Okeson called me. I've checked into the township road. I've talked to the township supervisors. John called me and confirmed that is a township road, period. And so they are in charge of this road. And they have told us they're taking the gate down.
well, I
So
don't,
the Inghams really don't matter, and we really need to get going and secure our landfill. That's what we need to do.
Mr. Chair, then Commissioner Barber, if Inghams don't matter, then we're dealing with the township on the
Yep.
road.
Yep, there you go. It's Township Road.
I think we have one issue. I think it's we have to provide access to Ingham's. And
Yes.
I think if we could find other access, we could work with the township and close that road if that's what worked, if it worked. But right now it's not, we can't find any other solution. So
No.
the solution is we have to secure a landfill to allow this road.
So when we say that, that we've tried that solution where if the township is willing to vacate the road and we find another solution, whether it's through the landfill for Ingham's, you're saying we've explored that and it's not possible?
I think the best option, in my opinion, is to the direction we're going, secure our landfill or open and closed and I
would disagree.
I don't
Well,
think there's,
We've,
what other way are we talking about?
so Erica, I've looked into this, and I mean, I live right there.
Mhm.
You want to talk about so you're talking about making another road to get these people into there. You want to see expense? It
No,
would be
no, I'm not.
wild. This is the cheapest way. And me and Charlie looked at this last June. We looked every way we could to get them in there to avoid this.
I would
So
think
when
the
you
best,
say you're arguing, I'm saying what are you arguing about? Did you look into it? Do you have an answer?
What I'm saying, Richard, is I'm not saying we should build a road, and I don't know that there is a solution. That's what I'm asking. Have we looked into that? That the way that we're currently doing it,
I think,
is that not a viable option anymore? That they're able to go through like as though they've been doing for the last
Well,
30 years?
No, that's not
That's what
anymore.
you're asking.
This is, that option is holding up this transfer of land. And
I don't think so.
No, it has. They can't
Well, I
get
think it has,
loans
but
on it,
now,
Barry.
now that we recognize it's a township road and they do the proper
Once-
paperwork, it is not gonna hold up their.
It
transfer.
won't, once,
Once we
Once,
Right.
the road.
once,
yeah. And
it's not gonna
so,
hold up. So what we're dealing with then is the access to the road, what their future needs aren't being met by the locked gate. I
I'll,
And
I'll,
the township supports them not.
See,
wanting-
all I want to say is it's been this way for 30 years. So I see that you recognize that it is a township road. However, there are statutes that if no maintenance has been done by the township for so many years, it is no longer a township road and can be vacated. It is, and I agree, it has not been vacated. But the only thing I have seen thus far is that we have a 1918 cartway. Cartway is different than a township road. So
Madam Chair, let's not get into this debate because whether we say, let's say we go down the road, say it's not a township road, we still have to provide that property owner the access to
Correct.
do that.
Yep.
So there is no, every other solution looking at besides that road is cost prohibitive. I would love for us to buy that property and then we can ask the township to vacate it. I think the township's made it clear that they want to keep that a township road. And to me, it doesn't matter if it's a township road or it's a usable road for them either way. That is their access and they will win that in a court of law, in my opinion. Whether it's with the township or if it's just give me access to my road, we've used this for this long, and I'm pretty sure they'll win that. Whether it's a township road.
They meaning the township or they meaning
the landowners.
the landowners?
That is
Yep,
the road
they
they've
have
used.
prescriptive easement, agreed.
So-
And I don't think anybody, and I'm not saying we wouldn't
So the
provide that
town,
easement.
to me, the township, whether it's irrelevant whether it's a township road or if it's just a road for them to gain access to their property. It's really irrelevant. It's gonna be the access to their property.
So I'm just gonna throw this out there. By you saying that, so let's say you guys vacated the road and we gave them a permanent easement.
It would
left
have to do
gate
the
up.
same thing.
But we wouldn't have to fence our landfill?
Yeah, we would.
Would we? Do you think we would?
How would they?
Not if the gate was up.
Not if
It's
the gate was
operated
up.
for 30 years.
I think we've proved that
We
we're
would-
not very good stewards of
We
this.
would-
No, I
road.
don't disagree
we would
with
have
you.
to get-
I
I think
100% agree.
We
I
would have
think
to
the
give them a
township
permanent
has
easement.
seen this, that we have not been very good to deal with, and I'll tell you,
We would have to
all
give them a
this
permanent
trouble.
easement.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Okay, first of
That's what
all,
they
one
originally
thing
asked
needs
for.
to be clarified is that road is a minimum maintenance road. It has not been maintained for 30 years. I can show you minimum maintenance roads that have not been maintained, and they do not look like that road. Now,
Well-
they have not been maintained like we do our township roads, but it has been maintained. That road, the way it
By the
looks
township?
today. By the township.
Madam Chair and Kevin, I think if we did this, we would be in partnership with the township on this,
Exactly, that's
on
all
the-
we're asking.
on the solution.
Yeah.
Yep.
If even in the direction that you're suggesting might work, this is a partnership with the township. If the township says, no, we don't like that solution, we want to maintain it, then that's that.
Are-
We need to be together on
Right. This is-
And
this is a-
I'm with you that I want to work together with the township. I'm just struggling with paying $100,000+ to fence.
I feel for you.
That's where
I
I'm
really do.
struggling.
This decision was made over 30 years ago. Our predecessors did this to us.
Mhm.
Now
Yep.
we need to fix it. Well, let's not make the same mistake again then.
well, then
I
that's
mean,
what
this
you're
is-
trying to
this is
do though,
split.
Phil.
Yep.
You're trying to
Well,
make the
I-
same, it was done wrong. The right thing to do would be turn it back into a town, just take the gate down. It is a township road. That's the right thing. You want to do something wrong and cluster this up and mess it up.
I don't think they're trying to do anything wrong. They're trying to look for the cheapest fish.
Madam Chair, no,
So it's not wrong, it's not bad either. But we have to find a solution giving them.
It's a matter of being fiscally responsible and also not impeding operations at the landfill. It's about safety of those traveling the road, making sure that is all taken into consideration, that we have gates that are open and big trucks going back and forth, and now we have it where people can go back and forth.
And we deal with that on all roads. Farmers are on the roads with combines and trucks,
Yep.
and I'm on the roads with
But
trucks.
they don't got to answer to the MPCA, Richard. I
That's
mean,
why we get the plan, Phil, that we should have got last spring, and we should have
Agreed.
secured our landfill.
Agreed.
The right
Should've
way
got
to
the
do
plan 30
this
years
was
ago.
to secure our landfill. In the beginning, we probably could have got the fence paid for, but we didn't.
I
We
don't
did
think
it all
it's-
wrong.
Finney.
Well, the
So-
pollution control had funding for cleaning up these landfills at that time.
So Madam Chair, what I'm hearing is we may not necessarily have to fence it with the fencing we proposed for them. Is there any way we can get a definitive answer from them on that?
You know, we should have done, we
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
But it's gonna take a while. And here's what I've been told by the township. They're taking the gate down. And then we can prove that they're wrong. We can then take them to court, but when they take that gate down, we're not gonna have any security in our landfill. And so, and they've told me they're taking the gate down. So I think, and we've drugged this out since June and made and held up this land transfer. This should have all been done. It's time to secure our landfill, and we should beg these guys not to take it down on March 1st, but we need to come up with a plan to secure the landfill as cheap as we can today, and maybe they won't pull it down, but they're going to take the gate down, and then we're going to have to go to court if that's what you want to do. I don't want to do that. I know it's a township road. Our attorney told us they have a very strong case. So, and we all know that they do. Brian sat right here and told all 5 of us that they have a very strong case, because I asked him, he was sitting right here.
I do not recall that.
Oh, well, I do. I know what he said.
Madam Chair and Richard,
Yeah.
we're not going down that road.
No, I don't
And
want to
we're
go
not-
down
we're
that
not-
road either,
We're not
so.
gonna fight with the township. We want to work, we're gonna come to a solution, whether we have to gate it but I think the concern is, how do we protect our landfill in 20 years if this turns into a development? You know, that's because there's going to be a lot more traffic on that road, and how do we manage accessibility at that time? Because right now, there's not enough traffic there to worry about. I mean, but in 20 years, we might have to have rolling gates that are opened and closed from the office. I mean,
You know, and I disagree, because I could see this, Barry. So say you have traffic, put a stop sign there at the gate. When you get up to the gate, whoever's coming through the landfill, stop and look both ways.
But I mean,
you're never gonna have that
I'm not worried
much
about,
traffic.
I'm not worried about traffic accidents. I'm worried about accessibility for the MPCA's requirements. That's the access that we have to be worried. I'm not talking about accidents.
And that wasn't a problem for the pollution control agency at the meeting.
I think that is the problem with pollution control, is access to our open and closed landfills without coming through the main gate.
Yes, that
of our
part of
site.
it.
That is the concern of MPCA. That's what our concern is here, not traffic on the road. That's
okay,
not,
well,
that's not relevant to me.
Yeah, but they told us we could manage that, and they were I think we should have.
But I'm just saying, if in 20 years there's a 200 house development back there, it's going to be a different story than what we're looking at now.
How can there be a
It's 200 acres.
I'm just asking, how can it be a 200 home development on a 33 acre or
I thought it was-
33?
It's not, it's in excess of 200 acres.
Yeah.
No, on a 33-foot road.
What's a township road?
Yeah, I understand that.
roads are like that.
Yeah, I understand that
It's a
does not.
township road. It's not an easement.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can have more houses back there, and
okay,
there's a
that makes
lot of
sense.
cases in our county where there are a lot of homes on 33-foot
Absolutely.
roads. And
Yeah.
it's not a problem. That road is plenty wide to serve a development.
So the 66-foot easement does not apply to a township road?
Township roads are not
Yeah.
relevant to to
Most
the
are, but
requirement.
they don't have to be.
Yeah, no, yeah,
But
that makes
it's
sense.
just more
That's what
difficult
I was
to
struggling with
operate
that,
and maintain.
and now it makes sense.
You know, and so we need to just talk to these guys, ask them, please don't take the gate down until we get it secure, but otherwise they're gonna take the gate down, and then guess what? What are you gonna do when they take that gate down? Are you gonna leave that gate up?
I got a question.
There you go.
We were asked right away to just provide an easement. Was that a single? I mean,
It's a 66-foot easement is what was requested.
and was it just for single use, or was it non-exclusive? Exclusive or non-exclusive? Non-exclusive, so that would have meant that we would have been maintaining a road for a non-exclusive easement, which would be could be a development back there. So keeping it a township road in the long-term future is probably better for us, because I don't want to maintain snow removal and gravel and probably paving for a
And
for a
I,
200, I mean, say it's a 100-unit development.
and I don't know, I don't know if we can do a 66-foot easement, to be honest with you, because where's
we
that,
can't.
where's the
Go right
line
onto
here?
the closed landfill.
Yeah,
We'll go right up the side of the closed landfill. You can't, I don't think you
we
can
can
do
do
a
66
66
foot.
foot.
I don't think so.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know for sure. But
Madam Chair, you guys said, Richard, you said you and Charlie drove out there and explored all options. What about coming in off on 245th, off 144, and turning south of the HHW building and going east from there and coming around our landfill? My big thing is, I don't want a county landfill. I don't want it split up with the gates. That's one of my big concerns.
Well, here's
Can
your
we-
problem
can we
there,
go
Bill.
around
You're
it?
gonna have to purchase land, okay, or dig out the demo, one of the two. Very expensive. Build a road, very expensive, and you're gonna put them right in a farm field. That's not where they park. And so they have a township road right back to where their property, and that's where they park, that's where they hunt at. They're gonna have to then either park in the field or make a road. You're putting a lot of.
Well, hold it. Now, okay, if we go your way, I mean, there's some trees back there. If you want to fence it, who's going to fence it? Who's going to cut down the trees? That road veers off. It doesn't go straight to their property. There's going to have to be some kind of a prescriptive easement or something that goes to their property.
No,
We got a semi halfway down that road that fills metal. We're going to have to reconstruct
Yep, we
that.
are.
There's a lot of issues here if this does go through with the township and with the county. My big goal would be to get around this somehow, so we're not splitting up our solid waste campus. That is my ultimate goal within the parameters of what we got already. But I certainly don't want to make it worse than it already is.
Is there a property, I mean, we looked in, the problem on the east is the railroad.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
This is on,
Access.
we're not
I mean,
going across the
I'm just
railroad.
saying, I would like us, we could maybe buy a property, buy a house and demo it and come across, but then you got to cross the railroad track.
We're not
and they-
crossing the railroad.
And they may
won't
not
allow it
even allow
anyway.
it.
That's already been researched.
A township road. So I'm just like, we're blocked, we have a blockade, that railroad blocks us in on that area. So I mean,
And it's a huge swamp on the other side. And there's a private landowner over there that is not very fond of us right now. So there
there's
is
no way
no
coming from the south.
good way to do it.
Fish and wildlife.
Yeah, you
Build a
can't.
road across there if you get their permission.
But yeah,
But we
there is.
looked at other options.
Me and Charlie went out and looked
Yeah.
every way we could.
I mean, I've looked at it
Within-
overhead
that
too,
doesn't
and it's
cost
like-
a fortune. And
There's just not.
when you're looking at cost here, it's a huge cost to even try and go around the HHW building, but you're not putting them, they're gonna have to put a road through that field. Here's what it is, it's a township road. These people should have never agreed to the county gating it, but any other way you're hurting them. We can handle this at the landfill. We can work with this, but I am not gonna put more
It's
strain
good
on them.
dialogue. I mean, I think if there was good solutions.
There isn't one, but yeah, if there was, it'd
I
be
mean,
So,
great.
Madam Chair, so going to the east, you don't like that, you don't like it because of the cost.
Well, the cost, and you're
The
gonna
east-
put.
Is that a
East is
viable
rail.
alternative, all costs set aside?
The east is the railroad.
The township
Ju-
proposed to open the gate.
You would come into 45th, as soon as you get to the HHW building, to the south of the HHW, you would head to the east.
Oh, on this side of the railroad.
Correct, yes, the railroad isn't even,
Across all
Stay
that
to the west
demo.
side of the railroad.
so that would gain you access.
To the field, Phil, not where
Well,
they go.
Richard, we don't have to, I mean, we've got to provide access, I get that, but I mean, where we provide access, a quarter of land is a half mile by a half mile by a half mile by a half mile. I mean,
Yeah, well, you're putting them on the edge of their field. Barry, how do you feel if you gotta give up a part of your field to put a road through it so they can get back to where they are going now? You're putting a huge burden on these people to try and get to where they've been going. And the township has made it clear they're gonna open that gate because now,
We're
told- know,
we're
advised
Is
by
this the
our
HSW
attorneys
building
to
right
open
here?
the gate.
So you
Just
come
so
in
you're-
here, and
it's
you
on
go
record.
over here.
Our
So
attorneys
Yep.
and this is all
our association
contiguous.
advise us the
So
gate
we
has
go
to be
right,
open
what's that?
if it's a township road. I just talked
say
to,
it one more time, he wasn't listening.
talked to Graham Mulberg from the Association of Townships yesterday afternoon, and he said if that's a public road, the gate, it cannot be barricaded or gated. If you are, you're in violation of state statutes.
Yeah. We've actually been called to the carpet for allowing that gate to be up as long as it has.
I wish there were other solutions or options, but this is a tough one. There's a reason why this was a township road at one time and is continuing to be a township road to gain access to that property. We don't open it, that property is landlocked. We can't vacate it because it's landlocked. It's a public road. We need to open the
See,
gate.
It
Here-
could be vacated with an easement. If we provide an easement to the property.
Initially,
Then you guys would
that's
be out of
what
the equation, right?
the landowners, initially, that's what they come to you
We were-
wanting last year. We started this last June.
Just to know though, I would not support an easement for a 66
No, I-
foot right
No.
away and a non-exclusive easement. I mean, we couldn't have I wouldn't support just to be fair, I wouldn't support a non-exclusive easement 66 foot wide in there. I'd rather have the township road.
Madam Chair, Charlie,
Mike
go.
Ingham wanted to be here today. He cannot. He's on a prior medical appointment with his daughter. Just to get that on record. But
Madam
he
Chair,
supports
Charlie,
it
go back to what you were
coming back.
talking about with that easement. You said that's where you started.
That's where Mike Ingham started with
Yeah.
the county that's what initiated all this, Phil. And it all led to where we're at now.
Well, is that off the table or can that be revisited?
He originally requested a 66-foot easement.
You'll have to talk to the landowners on that.
So he
But we,
originally,
but
Mike told me that's off the table now.
That's what he.
This
Yeah.
this has stopped the transfer of that land since June. And I talked to Mike just to see, and I talked to Charlie, we've rehashed all of this over and over again. And I talked to Mike yesterday and he wants the road open. That's what he wants. That's their property is at the end of it. He's done. He feels like he's
Where's
not
the
been treated
township,
well.
where's the township road end? My question is, so here's the township road here. Does it end here?
No, it goes through those
The property
trees and then it
goes through
veers
here.
off to your left there.
Yep. Does it all go all the way down?
No,
to the
it
property
doesn't.
right here?
It goes
No.
almost all the way, but
Almost, but no, it doesn't.
no, but they've been using it anyway, so there's
Correct.
no stopping them.
So if that road's open and you've got people with garbage thinking that, they come down there, there's gonna have to be a turnaround. Is that gonna be
You
on
built the
Ingham's?
gate there.
Is that
last
gonna be
fall.
the county's responsibility? Is that gonna be the township's responsibility if this road does go through?
Phil, you put up a gate and a fence there last fall. That's where they're gonna go through.
How are they gonna get turned around?
On their property.
Whose property?
we're not
Township
talking about
property?
Ingham's, we're talking about people.
You're talking about the public people. That's the county's responsibility.
Go ahead and make a cul-de-sac there.
Well, I don't think.
Why
that's
is that the county's responsibility? You're
responsibility to
asking for,
cul-de-sac.
you're saying it's a township road.
Oh, you mean at the end of the township road where you put up the gate?
Correct.
Oh, we'll build a hammerhead turnaround there.
Okay.
And they'll have a turnaround if they mistakenly drive through your gated area.
Is the township going to improve that road then to build that hammerhead? That comes
We'll have
through,
to.
that comes through all the way here,
At
all
the
the way
end?
down to here? You're gonna improve that road? And then build a hammerhead down here?
No, Phil's talking about building the hammerhead where you guys put up the fence in the gate area because
Up
that's
here?
where it's.
Yeah, I've
will
heard
be.
that 3 times, Charlie. So the
Just
turnaround there, but if
clarifying
you,
So we're all
Yep.
right, Phil. I don't want to send
so
out a little.
would the turnaround be a township turnaround then?
It would have to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to deal with the easement down there because that road doesn't go to the Ingham property. We got to deal with the turnaround there.
Let's work together in getting this done. Rather than trying to fight everything, let's be together on this and figure it out, rather than put up a roadblock at every turnaround here.
Ingham property starts right here. This is the northwest corner of the Ingham property. Where the red dot is.
So you
As
see
you
the
can
little
see-
road that comes off there, it doesn't quite get to the Ingham
It
property.
veers off here, so there'll have to be some, but it splits right there, it goes here, if you can see right there.
And that'd probably be the easement part that would have to be,
But if you did, the other option that that was discussed is coming around the HHW and go this way
correct.
and get access here. But if you look at, this is a slough bottom here.
Yeah, that's all, you can't,
I don't,
It's to the north of
can't get
Brandy
through
Lake
there.
right there.
I don't know if there's any access.
no, there's not.
Between,
Not from there.
No,
to get through here is what and that's why, so they have access to this property,
Yes.
obviously through, over the railroad. But the property is split by wetland.
right, it is, you
Here.
cannot get through there.
So,
So what do we need to do as far as today goes?
Well, we should try and stop these guys from taking that gate down. And because if they do, our landfill is not gonna be secure, and there's nobody gonna stop them from taking the gate down, and they've made it clear they're going to.
So
So
So-
we should,
as of right now, the plan that we have approved from the MPCA is going to cost us at minimum 115,000.
yep,
I'm not supportive of spending 115,000. I'm not saying that we can't come to an agreement, but that's what we have approved right now through the MPCA. So what do we need to, if you're saying that there are other options available that would be significantly cheaper, what does that look like?
okay, so it could be, we don't know, we need somebody to deal with the pollution control agency. I've heard so many different things now, and talking to them, they told us every landfill is different. You can use logs, rocks. And so I'm not sure that it's gonna cost us that, Erica, but I'm just telling you, if they take the gate down and you don't have a plan, I don't know what's gonna happen. So I don't
Well,
know,
I mean,
I'm saying we don't have any say here. They're at the
Madam
end
Chair.
of our thing, and they're gonna take the gate down.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Varberg, March 1st, the frost is not going to be onto the ground. There isn't going to be, I'm not saying we don't need to move this forward, but if that gate comes down on March 1st, we can't build a fence in that amount of, okay, so
That's
just.
why if I was you, Phil, and the rest of the board, I'd work something out with them and guarantee them that we're gonna secure that landfill as soon as possible, and then they can take the gate down. But if you keep kicking this down the road and they take that gate down on March 1st, it's only gonna be on you because you're the one that's held this up
Well,
all this
I think-
time.
Madam Chair,
That's
I
just-
think-
Commissioner Varberg, you and I are both on this committee.
Yes, and you know where I have stood from the very beginning. Last June, I thought the gate was coming down. That's the direction this board game. You
Listen,
directed them
Okay.
to get a
Madam Chair.
legal opinion. You're dragging this out.
Madam Chair, point of order. I think we have time that, I mean, I think us working with the township, we want to find the solution. I think they know we do.
I do.
The landowner has his, when the township documents that it's the township road for the needs of the applicant, they have what they need. So there's no big push for this. The township's gonna have to do, you got a pretty good project here, to finish that road if that's gonna be done. Because we're gonna have to most likely have some sort of barricade or fencing on both sides of this. So, I mean, this project, it's a longer term project. This isn't something, I think the landowner's satisfied right now because when the township gives him legal access. So, I mean, I don't think this is pressing as long as we work together and have a plan moving
Yes,
forward.
there you go.
And say, we will either figure some other way, which I think those have been looked at and maybe exhausted, but we can still continue looking. But I think we have to find I think we need to continue moving forward, working with the township. The landowner's satisfied with their legal process now, and that's what was pressing. But we have to look in the future. This could be a development and we have to plan for this to be long-term solution. There's no good solution here, because that fencing,
Agreed.
that fencing is gonna be costly, and the township's gonna have a cost getting down here and having a turnaround, figuring out, and they're gonna have to work with us, and we're gonna work with them. I hope
Yeah.
we are all agreed, we're gonna work with the township, getting that turnaround. The best thing is, I mean, if that land was up for sale, we would be trying to purchase it right now.
And I've tried to purchase it twice.
So,
I have. That's the first thing I tried to do was buy the land.
but
So I think
I
our,
think this fencing for this side of our landfill has to be more secure than this fencing, correct?
Yes.
So I think we could start, I think if we need to start early,
Madam Chair,
I think we
Commissioner
just
Nelson, what,
fence-
you said fencing on the west side, what do you mean by that? What needs to be,
I think
The
the
closed landfill.
MPCA is more concerned about this side, aren't they, than,
oh, you're talking about of the road?
yes.
Side's still not fenced, is it?
No.
So,
See, that's one thing that I can't get my head around. The whole south side of your property still isn't fenced. So why is the MPCA so upset about having a fence around the rest of it when the south side still isn't fenced?
yeah, I think
the
This
south
fence
side
that
doesn't have
comes
public
through the-
access?
accessibility, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is.
There's fence on the
Accessibility,
south
so
side
now-
of the MRF
So
there.
now
There's fencing.
we're talking about fencing down here on our property lines. There's no fencing on the south end of our property.
But there is south of the MRF there. There's a fence that goes down in those cavern or
But regardless, I think our fence has got to, I mean, we may, what's the best case scenario for us? We fence on this, we fence 100 feet here and 100 feet here and
Down at the
down,
road.
I don't know. And we might have to fence.
So I think our next steps is for, I mean, maybe it's Steve, Richard, Bill, and Carrie to meet back up with MPCA. What is minimum necessary for us to secure our landfill? We figure
Madam
that out,
Chair,
what's the plan?
we've done that. She's on vacation this next week or this week. And she's asked for some clarifications at this point of what basically that fence going across the road to the C&D landfill. She said, what are you going to do here? They've asked for some clarification.
So clarification on what the minimum requirement for fencing is?
Madam Chair, if I may, they asked before for a proposal, we submitted that. So if we are changing our position about what we're going to be actually asking them to approve, then I think we have to modify our proposal and
Yes.
resubmit it, is what I would suggest.
That's what I would suggest.
Madam Chair, I'm gonna ask the township, can you, I mean, I know you've set a deadline, but can you, I mean, there's no rush for the landowner. Can we extend that to move forward, working for this solution? Now, I would hope that we wouldn't have to put a chain link fence along this. I mean, there's really not a need to put a chain link fence, in my opinion. Nobody,
No.
I mean, what are you gonna drive up on? I mean, who
So
would
they
want-
want to keep people off that.
Right,
that
you don't want any
very-
driving on it.
Very, but the other thing was that there was a lot of gas there. Remember that?
Methane, yeah.
Now that's gone. And so that danger, it's almost all gone. We can't even keep the flame lit. So that was the reason for that.
From when this spill?
Yeah, that was the reason for that 6-foot chain link
But
barbed wire, and now that's gone. So there could be, if we had somebody to work with them, they don't give a lot. We need to actually, I don't know how to do this because they were up on the screen, and we need a little bit of direction from them on what we could get away with, and they didn't really give us that.
Well, I think
But they did say rocks and logs, so that tells me there is some room, didn't they?
They did, and so again, what they're doing is they're really putting it back on us to come up with a
Yes.
solution. They will review it and tell us yay or nay. It really is where it is.
Madam Chair, and that's for the closed landfill portion.
No,
We
for the
vote
whole
with
thing.
we met with the closed landfill people and we met with the continuing landfill.
Yeah, we've
So
met,
there was-
remember, we've met twice, and the second time, there must have been 9 of them up there, I think. There was quite a few of them up there. But I think there's options that are cheaper if we really try to figure this out. And so,
Well, if you could buy a 4-strand barbed wire, that's right at $20,000 a mile. I mean, that would be a fraction of what the chain link fence is, and that's basically gonna keep 99+% of the people out of there. and it'd be easy to gate and,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, that would be,
Richard,
there's a little
you
bit of
like
maintenance on it, but
four
that's
strand
still.
I do not like four-strand barbed wire, but for the cost, I do not like barbed wire.
I know,
Barbed
because
wire-
I know what you went through.
Yes, I do not like it.
Are you gonna approve it?
Well, I have to because the cost difference, and I'm gonna have to, try and get those deer to go around. I do not want them tangled up in that barbed wire. It's hard on me, but
When go high
Sorry,
solar
Rich,
and electrify it.
that's what I like.
And that would be probably half again, the cost of that.
Yeah, that's what Todd Andreessen did. You should see those deer go through that, just that wire.
Well, they can go over that and.
Well, they
heartbeat.
go through that wire at high
Well,
speed. I cannot believe how fast they go through that regular wire, not the barbed wire. The barbed wire gets tough.
Okay, do we have a
Anyway.
plan?
I think Barry had,
I think we acknowledge, move forward with the township road. If we find another solution, we can always we can cooperatively ask to vacate that, and if you approve it, then I don't think we want to fight with the township over this
No.
road.
No,
If you,
we
so
do
put it
not.
as a township road for this time. We'll work towards that solution. If we can find another solution, we can always backtrack and work with you to change that. I don't think there is. I wish there was, but I don't.
I don't think there is either, but I know that if we did find something that satisfied them in the Inghams, yes, but it has to be something decent. It's got to be something that works for the Slaughterhouse family. And then I think the township is looking out for the Slaughterhouse family, and I'm glad they do. That's my township. That's where I live. I'm so thankful for my township guys and for everything they do for us. But
Well, one thing we are gonna ask is we'd like a fairly hard, firm date on when we could expect some resolve. I mean, we left here in June thinking that by fall, this is all gonna be a done deal. We got notified in, end of November or so, that everything we talked or thought was going on was null and void.
So what, I've said this before, and we did drop the ball for sure on what happened in June. The bids should have been brought back for the fencing to the board, and we should have made some decision, and it should have continued to go. So I agree, we dropped the ball in June. My struggle with a hard date right now is because we're dealing with the NPCA, and we all know government, and government doesn't move fast. So I don't know what that date could be. I mean,
think
other
we can give
than,
them a hard date.
I think the
I think
problem
we
too,
can.
though, is we're gonna have to have the township's hammerhead done also, because we're gonna have to gate that area.
We'll have to do an
And that's not a
easement.
big deal, if you said we'll work with them,
Right, but I mean,
it would just take a little dirt work. We have, if we're gonna work with them, and we should, we have trackhoes, we have loaders. I'll tell you what, we could put that hammerhead in a couple days. We could fix that road all up in a couple days. It's not a big deal. Especially if,
but I mean, it's a partnership that
Right.
we can't, I just think we have to have we should probably develop the steps and how to get to where we're going and put some estimated times on those,
and what both are, like both the township and
Right.
the
Yes,
County
I
is
mean,
going
both
to.
put together a timeline of what we want to move, how we're going to move forward. I think, spring certainly can get some of that dirt work done and get that, but we're going to, even that road widened, or we have to, I mean, we don't want to, if you're going to improve that last part of that trail, we don't want to fence before you're done with.
It's not a trail,
fence
it's a
that-
road.
Well, it looks like a trail to me right
Well-
now. It might be a road trail, but if you're going to improve that, we don't want to fence till after the improvements are done. I would,
right, and hopefully we
Well-
don't have to fence down there.
But
I
our
I wouldn't imagine that trail is gonna be improved until we have a pretty firm plan from the Inghams what their intentions are. I mean, if that's simply gonna be hunting ground, we're not gonna spend $100,000 improving that trail
No, and
just as a hunting.
And if
ground.
it's going to just be hunting grounds,
it,
does it make sense for us to spend $100,000 for fencing when we can give them
We
access
could go back.
Well,
to
as though
where
that
we
they
were.
have?
the problem here, Erica, is if you restrict access to that property, you're gonna lower the value of it. There's a
But-
future there that
I don't think,
that land could be anything 10 years from now. And if you restrict it so that there can't be somebody living back there or can't be a house, you're hurting the value of that land. And that's.
well, let's go and think this a little differently. First of all, let's say it's a township road. I mean, let's assume, and then what you're asking then, is there another solution to work with the township to keep that limited access with the Inghams and the township? It's a township road. Let's assume it's a township road. Can we ask the township to cooperatively work with us to limit access on that? That would be the best solution and the cheapest solution. It wouldn't fix our problem down the road, but we might have to, if that becomes a development, maybe then we have to go. But so that's an option if it's legal and doable with both.
I don't think you can
And
limit.
just because of my thoughts, and I could be very wrong, and I don't know, but my understanding is this is a cartway that,
That's a road. It's the
that-
same thing.
shh, let me finish.
Okay.
Point of order.
My understanding is a
Got
cartway is a public road, but it's more for those that the property owners. It's not for a public go through or drive through. And it has to be recorded. This hasn't been recorded.
It's recorded.
So
Cartway has.
It's recorded.
with the auditor.
1918. It is. It's right here.
It's
As a cartway. See, the basic
It's recorded.
difference between a township road and a cartway is most township roads are 66 feet.
Mhm.
A cartway was just designed and developed to access property with a 33-foot easement that could eventually be developed into a township, or a permanent township road. The only reason when that township road was built and went as far as it did, the reason it wasn't recorded is because we're finding out that in order to record a township road, it has to be surveyed, it has to be recorded, we checked into that. It's right at $3,000 to $5,000 to have that township road recorded.
I think what, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you're asking is there a solution for this fairly short term, maybe 3 to 5 years? Is there a solution where we can kind of keep it the same? It's a township road, and can we just keep the limited access? Acknowledging that it's a township road and allowing the Inghams to get through there whenever they want with as it's gated. I think that's what you're kind of looking for.
I mean, yes, because
And this is a temporary solution. And when they want to improve, then we'd have a better idea of what.
But here's the deal, that the gate has to come down.
Well, that's what I'm
Well, then we
asking.
don't have a secure landfill, so that would be, we would have to address that.
As township supervisors, we cannot allow that gate to blockade or go across the township road.
do you have any of the minutes from the? I'm
Oh,
trying
we
to
researched
learn
everything.
like what happened in the 90s to
Okay.
understand why
Well,
it happened the way it.
This is what we've researched and talking to everybody that we can possibly find.
Mm-hmm.
About 1991, 92, that's when the MPCA started putting pressure on the landfill, to seal it up, close it up. There was a county employee that talked to Wesley Schlotterhoff family and said, for a temporary, would you allow us to put a gate across that township road temporarily until we can figure out exactly what MPCA is going to require us to do?
Well, it is temporary.
Kind of sounds familiar,
It
doesn't it?
is temporary.
Yeah. So it was just left at that. MPCA must have put their thumb down or something and said, we need to have this landfill closed. So the county put the gate up there. Didn't notify the landowners, didn't notify the township. There was nothing,
Didn't officially.
nothing officially to vacate the road, to blockade it, to do anything. Well, it was brought up at a township meeting. What in the Sam heck is the county doing? Well, the Slaughterhouse said they agreed it's just going to be for a short period of time. Was that a month, a year, 2 years? I don't think it was intended to be 30 years.
Or
But-
40, or maybe 40.
Well, but it just kind of died because nobody really gave a rip because the Slaughterhouse, the land was not really used for farming, and there's 2 or 3 farms that had been back there that families had lived on, didn't care either. What's happened is the county actually bought one of them properties. So it just kind of laid there until.
And also, we expanded our footprint. We went to
Exactly.
go on the other side of the road. We initially weren't on the other side of the road.
Yeah. But what has happened now is Wesley and Hannah Schlotterhoff has died, and this land has gone to their children, and now they're passing it on to the grandchildren. And instead of just quick claim deeding and doing a bunch of that stuff, just getting it by as cheap as they possibly can, now there's 5 or 6 heirs that are gonna buy this land from the other heirs. And they're borrowing money, doing a bunch of that stuff to buy it because it's relatively expensive. So what's happening now is attorneys are getting involved and everything has to be done properly. They're finding out that what was done in 91, 92, and 93 is not right. So they're not getting the financing and they're not getting the property transferred.
They don't have legal access to the property,
Exactly.
documented legal access.
Documented.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what's bringing us all. The reason it's just been sitting there festering for 30 years is because
Is,
basically nobody cared.
if there is a way that we can, if we research, and I think you've researched, but if we research and find a way to have a township road with limited access, and the Schlotterhoffs agree to some sort of limited access, so we can keep some sort of fencing at the main entrance, would you be favorable? We would acknowledge that there would be if it's allowable, and that it is a township road.
If we could
Allowable,
get it
if it's
passed
legal.
through the township legal system.
And it's a township road, I mean, I think that would be our best solution.
Madam Chair.
I don't know if it's-
Commissioner Nelson, I don't disagree that that wouldn't be a good solution for today to get all of us through, but is that going to be good for the commissioners sitting here 20 and 30 years down the road?
They will
Well,
have
we're
to
not
put
going to
up.
let it sit for 20 or 30
Well,
years.
I
mean,
mean,
it-
We're
we-
kicking the can.
I
No,
think
we're
we
not
are.
kicking the can.
We are kicking the can down the road if they want, and I'm acknowledging that. We are kicking the can down the road if this is developed.
Oh,
If-
you mean
if-
kicking in the event that.
If it's developed, then we'll have to put a
Slaughterhouse want
fence
to
up.
develop.
But
it.
what's the difference if we spend $115,000 now, or in the future, spend the equivalent in that day's money to the same thing? I mean, I don't think it matters. The township doesn't have to build their hammerhead. I mean, if the parties agree and we can do it legally, I think that would be our,
Well,
From
let's,
what we've been told, there's no way the township at the state level, through our legal departments, is going to allow a township road to be gated. That's just absolutely
but
no.
is there conditions on that if it's receiving money? I think Jim has some input on here. So there might be some conditions. Jim, Madam Chair, would you recognize
yeah,
Jim?
yes, Jim.
I've done just limited research, and I know those guys have, they said it's a minimum maintenance road. Minimum maintenance roads are often seasonal. And the statutes do allow for temporary closures of seasonal or minimum. All you have to do is have to look it up first, about your council on that stuff. There are statutes that allow for that.
Could you get us those us and Charlie and Kevin?
Write that down.
Why does that matter? It's only temporary.
Yeah, it's just.
What
you
does
just said-
temporary
Yeah, what
mean,
does
Jim?
temporary mean?
There's no definition.
Well, that's what it says.
Temporary?
30 years?
So-
It's not.
I mean, I know what temporary means, but, so that's not a long-term solution either.
But it,
No, we're not.
I know they're concerned about following the legal process of growth. And I think this could get through, until we get that resolution on building a fence or how we barricade it. So we don't feel that we have to open it up.
So I think the best solution, can you guys, these two and Carrie meet, let's look at these, let's come up with some kind of an agreement. We will continue to work with MPCA to find out what we minimally have to do to work towards
gate fencing.
fencing solution and try to come up with a solution together that meets our needs as far as being fiscally responsible and keeping our landfill secure, as well as your needs of getting the township road open and or Schlotterhoff's access through easement. Because I think we're not going to have a solution today, other than knowing we're willing, we want to work with you and figure out a solution.
Okay, getting back to a date. Would September 1st be a realistic date to have a kind of a firm plan in place that we could expect to know that, okay, within the next 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, this is going to be done, this is going to be done, this is going to be done?
I think September 1st, a plan in place is doable. I mean, like, I would hope we have a plan in place before September 1st.
too.
We do too.
But-
I mean,
But I think we are committed to not dropping the ball again.
good.
Yeah, we are.
Want to hear.
So, I mean, and committed to make sure that those that are on this board figure out the solution and fix this issue so that the next board here or the next board at the township aren't dealing with the same thing.
Amen to that.
Madam Chair, just throwing this out there, there might be another solution where we could just pay the Schlotterhoffs X amount of money to negate their access if the township agrees to close that, to vacate that road, and we pay them X amount of money to just not pursue that issue and access from the other side, because they do have access across the railroad to get to their field.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
There's a little triangle piece us would have to purchase.
So how do they get to that field? How do they get?
There's also a problem with Canadian Pacific to get.
But they have
that.
access across. They have to have access to that field.
I believe that's a private,
Yeah, it is.
it's a private
Wayne-
driveway
Wayne has-
across.
Wayne Slaughterhoff has access across there, and I asked him about this right away, Barry. That was the first thing.
This
that
parcel
we
right here?
looked at.
Yes.
Yes.
It's the same
so-
name on both of them.
Yeah, it is, but Wayne lives right there, and they told me that the CP will not allow any extra traffic across that crossing. They want to limit access or
Yeah.
traffic on those crossings.
Because it's a private crossing, right?
Yeah,
It's not a
so-
public crossing.
So they can't get
And there is a road
way in.
further down off 59, but once again, both of those roads cross the railroad.
Okay. We could stay here for hours to try to, but that's our commitment. We're not going to drop the ball. I hope before September 1st, because we are going to continue to
Well,
work on it.
Yeah, I think if we go down
Until
the
we have a
road of
solution.
fencing, I think then we have to, we have to have the plan, so at least you get that hammer. If we do fencing, we got to get that.
And budget
hammerhead
for
in.
it. We kind of have to budget for it.
Well, the budgeting comes from out of.
Yeah,
out
it
of-
comes out of environmental. We have the
environmental.
money
It-
in environmental. It's not something
This-
we
this-
levy for.
This will be paid for by tipping fees.
Yes, and the money is there, and it's not gonna change our levy or anything like that.
It could increase your tipping fee.
Well, I hope not.
Well, the money's
Well-
it's got to be spent, so it will, it might not be significant over the course for everyone, but it is an increase in for taxpayers, so.
Okay.
Okay,
So Madam Chair, a plan moving forward. So Carrie, are you going to be the head of this, or me and Richard, or what?
I think it's essential carries the lead on.
I think so,
That's what I would assume.
I
Okay,
can try and work with you.
Oh.
I thought you said you liked him.
I do like him. I do like him.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll just wait to hear from Carrie then.
I will look
Yeah.
at
Are you
schedules and.
moving forward with registering that or as a township road? To give
We
them,
have an annual meeting coming up in March. We're going to bring it up to our constituents. We've got some hard, firm prices and that type of stuff. We're not really looking to spend an extra $5,000 just to record a township road. We've always thought it's a township road. So,
well, that's got us to this point, so maybe we should spend a little money now so we don't have to spend a lot more. All of us involved, even us. I'm talking us too, so.
Yeah, it's a topic on our annual meeting. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
But just for a point of clarification, with the statute, Jim, that you referenced, the resolution that you suggested, that might be a temporary,
Yeah, that'd just be very temporary.
That'd be.
but it
till-
would give them
get us
the
the
legal
year.
access
Yeah, right.
for their property
Yep.
So,
movement.
so we could do that we could do that legally right now.
No,
Well, they have to
they
do
would
it.
have.
We'll do
They, I mean,
that.
not we, but you,
Oh.
yeah.
But that might be enough for them to move forward with
Yeah.
their,
That might be enough for them to move
Property.
To get the
forward.
land closed
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that.
That's what I'm
correct,
saying,
correct.
yeah.
That's what I was suggesting.
I think I would like some other solutions, but I think the best solution for you is to do that, make it a township road, and then we'd ask you to pass that resolution to temporarily keep it closed. Then you meet your legal obligation.
Well, I don't think it is a township road. They don't have to do anything to make it a township road to do the resolution to temporary gate it.
They have
Right.
to get legal for the.
'Cause it's a minimum maintenance
For
requirement.
the individuals
Mike
that need
Ingham.
legal access,
Oh,
they
For-
need to do that.
For the future, I think it'd be best in
Well-
our interest and in theirs to get it legally recorded at the county, and then there is no issue.
Then
It is
we
what
move
it is,
forward
and-
from that issue, from
Yeah, they
that
can move
starting.
forward with whatever development or whatever they wanted to do.
It gives them their legal access that they need to make the transfer of ownership.
But there's going to be cost, I mean, probably requires a survey at the end of that road. I mean, there's something going to have to be done there with an easement. So I mean, there is going to be some probably significant cost
Fair
there
amount of cost.
for everyone.
We understand that.
Okay.
Yep.
okay,
All right.
moving on.
Thanks,
Well,
Kevin.
thanks,
Kevin
guys.
Farley, thanks a lot.
We'll get
All
it
right,
done. hopefully.
Let's appreciate your patience with us. All right, let's bring up Brian. Sorry, Brian, we maybe should have.
Brian
Maybe should've-
learned a lot.
I think there were some
First.
questions, even across that wetland. If there would have been access, Brian could have helped answer some of that accessibility across wetlands. They're not, if those two properties are staying together, they still have accessibility across that wetland concern.
Right, yeah,
Just
and
fill it in.
even the current view, it looks like it may be not wetland, but, possible, it should be investigated.
Yeah. The current township road access point, I don't think has any wetland issues, but that'll have to be clarified for improvements.
Right.
Okay,
All right,
Brian,
very good.
we're ready for you.
Bet you're gonna be short.
I'm hoping. The Crow Wing River Comprehensive Watershed Management Plan, the implementation phase is on its second year now. And during the planning process, the White Earth Nation was involved. They just were trying to get the council to commit to adopting the plan and being a part of the group. And they since then have decided to join the group and are requesting inclusion on the implementation agreement now as one of the, I guess, not technically an LGU, but act like one of the participating LGUs in implementing the plan. And
So basically, it's amendment to add the White Earth Nation to this.
correct.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve 1E.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion?
Brian, you said White Earth is not an LGU. The resolution states the other LGUs. Do you got to say the other LGUs and White Earth? Or, I'm just looking at this here.
Right,
Does that matter?
I don't know if it really matters in
Okay.
your resolution, but.
And it was approved by the policy committee already for the
Okay.
Crow Wing
Alright.
watershed.
Okay.
Yeah, and I did bring the agreement to county attorney for his review and.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right,
Thanks, Brian.
Brian,
thank you.
all right,
Are you back to me again?
back to Carrie with,
Madam Chair, just wanted to update the board. If you recall, a while back, I had submitted some training modules and plans to the Department of Corrections asking for our environmental staff to be able to be trained through some of the training that the jail does with correctional officers as emergency backup for the ICWIC crew leader if they were out ill or on an emergency basis. So I was waiting on that. I don't recall, within the last week or so, got approval from the Department of Corrections, so that will move forward. So I've informed Steve, and I know at the Sheriff's Committee I did reference that as well. So I think at least one environmental staff, perhaps two, will figure out the training internally, and so that they can, so since that's been approved, so we'll have at least an additional person that can fill in on an emergency basis.
Madam Chair, so you got approved to apply the training that you came up with?
Correct.
Okay, so timeline on that? Like
As
to
soon
get
as
the
we can
training
get,
done?
they are working on, I know the jail was working on doing some training of new correctional officers, so it's just a matter of assigning who's going to do which module. So I don't anticipate it'll take very long.
Once the person starts the training, is it a month-long process, a week process? Pretty quick? Okay.
Days.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
I had referenced I had a call with the DNR. I spoke a little bit about the Eagle Lake. The other thing, if you recall, I want to say it was last summer, it had Ben Berkey that came in. He spoke about a potential MOU between the DNR and White Earth for joint management of the forest. Similar to the Tamarack Wildlife Refuge. So when I had the conversation with him yesterday, and I also had heard this from Mr. Hank, maybe you guys heard about it in your
And NRM
management.
Dusty mentioned it.
Okay, yep, and I heard about it
Dusty
yesterday from Mr. Hanks as well, from the tribe. They're expecting that MOU for joint management efforts between those two entities will probably be signed off on yet this week. What Mr. Berge had indicated was really it's memorializing the current arrangement that they have.
I think I mentioned this in committee report too, at our last meeting, because Richard and I, at our NRM meeting, Dusty and Mark brought that up and discussed it and said they're basically, and he gave examples in our meeting what they do and what they've been doing.
What they're currently doing.
Just kind of, and it was nice to get a heads up like that.
Right.
And I think that's important for our relationships moving forward, that we're, put everything out on the table. So I think these meetings are very helpful.
They are very good.
And when you,
Relationship is.
and those guys are, when you talk to individuals, I wish state and federal governments could do this too. When you talk and have a dialogue back and forth, things, you're not thinking you're trying to be, you're not feeling something's underhanded, or you go, oh, well, that makes sense, it's not, so.
That relationship has been very good, and they've actually sped up the logging process when it got shut down.
Yeah.
And so, that's worked out very well.
Madam Chair, I missed out on the fireworks and all this. I just read it in the paper, but so what area are we talking about? The joint?
The state-owned management, the state properties.
Correct, within the.
Is that the 75,000?
Not our tax forfeit, it's the state,
Yes.
the state-managed properties.
Tamarack.
No, that's
No,
federal.
That's
federal.
They've already got
White
it.
Earth.
It's similar to what
It's
they were
the
doing.
language is similar.
They have a agreement with them.
So how would I know where that area is, or how many acres is that?
Well, if you
covered?
look on your map, there's different colors for
Yeah, I've seen
county
it, yeah.
land or for state land, so it's on
It's just the state.
Just the
state-managed
state.
land.
State management, okay. All
So
right.
we have county-managed land and they're state-managed land.
Yeah, so I would mimic what you said. I mean, I very much appreciated getting the heads up both from the DNR and from the tribe on this issue. So, moving on, I should say with that, he made it very clear, the DNR, that there is language in there that this has absolutely nothing to do with any land transfer. So there is language, I have not seen it. He said he would send us a signed copy once it's signed, but there's language in there in reference to that, what it does not entail. Work has been continuing on blight properties and a process. So
Madam Chair, Carrie, just to go back to,
Oh,
I
sorry.
think, within our departments at NRM, I think the foresters are working well together. I mean, there's good communications, and I think this averts hopefully any future concerns, like we had in, a year ago. But those guys are working well together. So
Yeah, they are.
it's very,
It's good to hear.
yeah, I think we have a really good relationship on,
And they had
on the ground.
They had a very productive 2025 too.
Yeah.
With well, we have 2 foresters now and a backup, but yeah,
So,
I see that too, Barry.
Yeah, and I, again, would mimic what you've said. I mean, I have weekly calls with White Earth and Monoman County, so that has been very helpful for sharing of information as well. So I think it's going well all the way around.
and you said Mr. Hanks is Richard?
Yes.
Yeah. I see him and he's very, very,
He was at one of
Yeah.
our commission
He's
meetings
on
not
our-
very long ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably summer, I think.
What was he here for?
He
Oh,
was
the tower, the Rat Lake Tower.
Yeah, and just here to observe. There's been continued work being done on blight properties. We have put together a working document as far as a process, as well as kind of a checklist that we're going through. There's arrangements being made for one of the properties to be viewed next week. So things are moving in the direction that we've all discussed. I will be drafting, and I've referenced this before, but you can expect it to put it on your radar. We've talked about, or it was requested that I look at email retention policies. I did bring this up in the department head meeting. We have not had this before in the county, so it's really about what kind of timeline we potentially might want to consider for an email detention. It's going to be a tough change, I think, for some that
I would
are
agree.
used to having, years of emails, but when we start talking about storage and, having a policy about how long we're going to manage and keep those things.
And I think some of it also goes off of, retention policies. If we have, keep it for years and years and years, and statute says only keep it this long,
Depending on the content of what you
yeah,
have.
so I think that, and I think it goes back to, as I said when we brought this up, if we were ever,
if you
a
ever,
cyber attack and MCIT had to go through every email, and how many of those emails are talking about the potluck and the Christmas party and all that
You have to kind of wade through.
we
it.
have to pay for it all. But if we don't have some kind of retention policy in place, that all those are there. So
Well, and I think you have that, and I think another issue that's attached to this is when you have data requests, and we've gotten many, many more data requests over the last probably year, I would say. So depending on what they're asking for, I mean, that's a lot of data. And then if you don't have consistency, and this has been brought up in our department head meeting, if you don't have consistency between departments and to really give any guidance about how long you actually keep emails. Some are deleting, some aren't. So I think it would be just better to be consistent of what the policy.
agree.
So Madam Chair, Carrie, that is directed by statute, right? How long you have to keep certain
content.
So in townships, it was clearly you have to keep certain documents for a certain number of years. The county doesn't have that. We make up our own policy?
Well, emails, you remember, depending on the content. So
Correct.
there's certain statutory requirements about like how long you might keep hiring information or certain information. But we don't have a blanket policy for emails in general. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what you're trying to
Correct.
come up, oh.
Correct. So I'm not going by necessarily content within the emails. I'm going blanket email retention.
you would say blanket emails unless otherwise required by statute.
Correct. Correct. So there might be some outliers legally that you may need to maintain something longer.
So how the state does it is we have a 1-year email retention policy, and if there's anything that must be kept, you save that email in
a folder.
So,
And then those folders are reviewed after X amount of years or time.
yep. So,
So
okay.
more to come on that subject. I believe this has already been talked about, but with the legislative conference, I know Peggy has registered a few, I can't remember, a couple of you already. So if you're interested, please let Peggy know and she'll get you, today. Let Peggy know today.
I'll let you know by the end of the day.
Well, because both the hotels cut off tomorrow,
Okay.
and I have to register you before I can get the link for the hotel.
Okay.
Okay.
What is that date again?
4th and 5th.
4th and 5th.
Third, 4th,
Third
and
is
5th.
the MRC, fourth and fifth.
So we have board meeting that morning.
Mhm.
So I have to go to MRC that night. So could I for sure get the evening of the 3rd? I don't think I have anything Wednesday, and maybe the meeting is the 4th and the 5th then?
Mhm. Okay,
Might tentatively put me down for the both, the 3rd and.
I got a message from Kyle, and he just wanted me to update the board. He is starting a process where he's reviewing some of those conditional use permits and parameters within to make sure that they are staying within what was approved. So more to come on that. That's all I have in my report. So the last item I have for your consideration is Resolution 1F. This is what was requested by this board for me to be able to delegate authority to me to be able to sign off on ongoing contracts that rather than coming to full board.
Motion to approve 1F.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, one concern I had is, I don't mind if you sign off on those, but the 5% increase, I thought that was a little bit lofty. I was thinking maybe we could do like a 3%.
It doesn't matter to me. I took that in when from
We had a
consideration.
5% increase in, what was it, food?
Yep.
Just that came before us?
Yeah,
for
I
jail?
took that information from this board, so if you want me to modify that, I sure can.
I don't mind you doing that. It's 5% increase. You have the ability to sign any contract that goes up by 5%. It's just, unless it's over that, I thought that was a high threshold for us to be looking at. I would,
What number would you prefer?
I would suggest 3.
I don't have, the motion maker and it doesn't.
Yeah,
have a
I'm
problem
good. I'm good
If you
too.
want to just modify that to
Yeah.
a 3% increase.
And I'm fine. however
we
you
find
wanna
that
do it.
it
You just want me to modify it to
And if we
3%?
find that, I'm fine.
We're asked to do budgets, and I mean, if we do all our contracts are at 5%,
I would
that can
hope-
add up after a while.
Okay, so we have a
Friendly amendment.
friendly
2%.
amendment to change
Okay.
the proposed increase to 3%
Instead of 5.
instead of
Is that
5.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, I would like to request like a 5-minute break.
All right, 5-minute break.
Oh,
Come on, guys.
So long, Dave.
All right.
Future
Do we have
county
everybody?
We do.
All right, back in order. Carrie said she has an update for us. We're going to
I
quick.
do. Madam Chair, while we were on break here, I did get a response from the MPCA that I did want to update you on. My question really was, what's required for fencing? Because that's the question of the day, correct? So they did say barbed wire is acceptable.
Okay.
So I do have that answer. So we do potentially have some cheaper options.
Well, then
That's
I
good to
think
hear.
our solution is very much
Very easy.
easier to make.
Okay.
It's a gate, it will be gating and monitoring those gates. Will be.
Yep, so we do have a few outstanding questions with the MCCA, but I will follow up with that, but I wanted to give you that information.
Okay. Thanks for that update. Moving on. Denise.
Denise, I've missed you. We don't see you nearly as much anymore.
Thank you.
We're only an hour and 10 minutes behind.
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot I didn't go to the bathroom.
Too bad.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, I went for you.
George got me talking about basketball, and then I lose track of everything else.
I have two contracts for your consideration and approval. The first is the Mahoobie Ottawa 2026 Child Care Administration Program contract renewal. We did have that in the December list and summary, but it was inadvertently incorrect, the dollar amount. So we have corrected that with this submission, and it is not to exceed $91,383, which is exactly the same as last year. And small,
Just for reference, this is a contract that would not need to come back to us
correct.
as a
I
renewal.
had indicated
It was
to bring it back.
kind of,
It was a change.
Yeah, it was
no,
like.
but it was on the
It
agenda.
was
so.
51, 41 was on there, 51 or something.
It was 53 and it should be 91.
53,481.
Yeah.
You know, as we move down this road, I think this is a good thing but I would like the list of renewals that, to come to us still. I mean, just to say that these have been renewed. So we're trying to familiarize ourselves with.
Madam Chair, wouldn't that be in the consent agendas? I mean, we would still know they're being reviewed. You would just sign them.
They would
Wouldn't
not be, they would not be in consent agenda, no. They would be authorized to sign by the administrator.
Well, we could,
I mean, that's county business. I mean, I would think that would be in consent agenda. I mean, we can just figure it out at
even if it's
another
on the
time.
consent agenda, the following contracts were reviewed and signed. A list of them.
I think he's talking about future contracts.
Not new contracts, recurring contracts like this one.
Right, they would not, it would be, Carrie has the authorization to sign them for the board to sign the renewal. You could put them on the consent agenda as information.
But it's a renewal. That's county business. That is work that she's doing. I mean, that's what the consent agenda is all about, I think. Approve the minutes, new contract or recurring contracts like this, pay the bills.
I'm just saying, we made that motion, so it does not have to be approved by the county board, a renewing contract.
Correct, but you just said you wanted to know, and I said, would the consent agenda be the place
Oh,
to see
I
that?
thought you said they would need to come to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, if I may, perhaps it would be helpful under my report if I just gave you a listing
Right,
of what I.
yes.
Yes.
That's all.
I don't know that it belongs in the consent agenda, but I
Okay,
could certainly
fair.
give a report.
Because that needs consent agenda is board approval.
Back to the Mahoobie Ottawa. Do I have a motion to accept the amended contract?
I'll make a motion to approve the amended Mojave Ottawa contract.
All right, I have a motion by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Barry. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And the second contract is with Minnesota State Community and Technical College. It's a small space lease for the Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy. It's for $24,000. It is grant funded. We get the $24, then we just, in effect, pay to them. So it's an in and out for us. It's a one-year renewal from July of 2026 to June 30th of 2027. Acknowledging that there may be some changes in the future. They didn't think those changes would take place prior to this. So they entered into this contract with us.
I'll move to approve the space lease for 1 year renewal for Mojave,
Minnesota Child Welfare Training Academy.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion by Phil. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank Denise.
Thank you.
Denise,
you,
just a
Denise.
quick question for Denise. Do you have, Tiara's not going to like me asking this question, but how is the new family paid leave working? I mean, are you managing through that?
It's a little early. We don't have a lot of takers yet, but I think that we will.
Okay.
And it may be a challenge
I'm just trying to
staff-wise.
think ahead of, I think it's been mentioned here, is there a roving county support? You know, maybe we form a loose alliance with Clay Ottertail to have a, you know, and the surrounding counties to have a loose alliance of some of the specialties that you need so much licensure to fill those. I mean, you can't just fill some of your positions, and I guess I don't know how we can address that.
And it's not just that though, Barry. It is, I agree that, but it's even how with truck drivers, try and get a CDL driver, try and get a backhoe operator. It's going to be a big problem for all of us. I think we need to get the counties together and get rid of this thing.
Well,
But
I think we have to plan on not getting rid of it because, I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere, but I think we need to find out, because no offense to CDL or backhoe drivers, but those things can be delayed if you have to. I mean, some of this
Snow plowing can.
Some of this stuff cannot be. We are liable. We are statutorily obligated to do these jobs.
Especially the protective services.
And we can't. I mean, if a road doesn't get plowed till later in the day, people are mad, but you cannot, a child welfare case, you cannot put that off. Lives, those kids' lives would be endangered. I mean, those are the things that worry me if we have staff.
Correctional officers is another big one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if there's some way to look at that or if there's some of that discussion, but it's something to.
I think what would be helpful, and this is maybe for Tiara more than Denise, is for us to understand more of, is it really the moms and dads going out, or is it the, people taking care of their parents or their brothers or their sisters, all the other allowing criteria that this act allows?
Madam
Like,
Chair,
it's not just.
Isn't that privileged information though? We
I
wouldn't be
don't
able
know,
to
maybe.
ask those things, right?
You
I don't
couldn't
know,
ask
maybe.
individually, but you could ask.
Collectively?
I think you could ask for generally.
Come on up.
So, to the point for Denise's department specifically, we do have the temporary contract for temporary social workers that we could utilize, especially in her
We do.
point for special.
Except it's significantly expensive. It's not cheap.
No, it's not,
Mhm.
but neither is overdoing workloads for
Mhm.
other individuals and losing people
Mhm.
because of it. So we have it as an option, at least in her department. For reference to what we're experiencing currently as a county, last year in total, we had 39 leaves totally through the year. Eight of those were child related. So why I'm referencing that is 8 of those individuals can technically take an additional 12 weeks now into 2026. They have 12 months from birth or placement of child to take those additional 12 weeks. So we can still experience that this year. So far this year, we've had 10 leaves in the application process being approved. 3 more that I'm aware of. And what I can give you reference to is what's medical versus family. We have, I didn't write those numbers down specifically, 6 that have been medical so far, 4 that are family. So that's what I can give reference to.
And medical meaning themselves.
Yes, medical means themselves versus family means whatever sort of support is needed for a family member that's qualified under the leave.
Okay.
So Madam Chair, Tira, so we not only have to, we pay for that, right? For them being out on medical leave, a
We pay
percentage,
for that
correct?
As a, yes. as
But
a
the more
percentage.
important part is we have to replace that person in the work they do. So that means their work gets spread over other workers. And if we don't have the licensure or the CDL or whatever, that becomes
It's too soon at this point to really get a good grasp on how it's going to affect financially for the county, if it's going to be a number of overtime hours for those individuals that are hourly. Like in Denise's case, her social workers are salaried employees. So what we would probably expect more is burnout for these individuals if we have a
But a
massive.
salaried person at a 20 case load, if someone else goes out and they got to cover, it's a salaried worker at a 30 or 40 case load. I
Correct.
mean,
Yep. Yep.
and we may never know, we may never be able to put a dollar amount to this because it's time lost. It's intrinsic value more than,
I mean, the number that you for sure can put to it is what caseload
yeah,
is there that has to be then spread across other individuals
right?
to be able to cover it in a salaried case. In hourly cases, obviously we can track and quantify overtime, but that's kind of where we're at this point, and it's probably too early to really understand.
I think the first year too probably might
Not be completely fair because you're having some carryover from the previous year to manage, and
Yeah, the first year is going to be,
especially hard.
Madam Chair, the school district mentioned at that legislative assembly that they had 7 people using this paid family leave already, as well in January. Anyway, so we're on pace here. Didn't we talk about, we're on pace. This is the pace we were at July last year.
Pretty
So
close.
this
I
is-
mean, we had
we're at the end of
nearly
January.
40 Yep, we had nearly 40 total for the whole year last year. We're already at, we can say 13 because I know of 3 additional that are in the works.
So this is a
So-
cost to the county. I mean, it is. You might not see it all, but it's a cost.
And it's
for
not
them.
it's not only our
Yeah.
county, like in county boards and different platforms that I utilize, it's being felt across all of the counties. Pretty much the majority of counties that I've spoke to are like at that 50% of last year pace
Oh, really?
already at this point. Mhm.
okay. Thank you for that information.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
Thanks, Denise.
And now we'll just move on to Tiara, since you're here.
I'm next. First item that I have is Resolution 226-1D.
So
This
moved.
is-
All right, we have a motion to accept Resolution 2D. Do we have a second?
I will second.
All right, any further discussion?
Tara, did you have anything significant to add?
Nope.
It's an extension on a current.
Yeah, I
It's
get it.
extension on a current, yep.
Current leave, yeah.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second item that I have is a policy for variable part-time employment status. This is not something that we've looked at previously in the county, but we do have some individuals that would fall under it. Specifically, it's based on correctional is probably the most that we would see it for those variable people that aren't meeting our thresholds and don't qualify under the union, of course, is the next piece. They can't qualify under the union or we can't do this. But so this is just moving forward with putting some sort of policy in place to be able to regulate that and say, if you're not going to work at all, we probably don't need to continue to pay like the uniform allowance that we've been doing because we don't have anything saying that we shouldn't be or different.
So essentially what this policy is saying is you must work a minimum of 200 hours in order to remain a variable employee.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
All right, we have a
I'll-
motion by Barry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tara. All right, next up, we have Jim.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Highway has one item for your consideration. It's bid acceptance. Bids were open for the Westlake Drive project on January 22nd. We had 3 bidders on submit bids for us and had a little spread there, but the low bid came in for Haug of Detroit Lakes at $5,016,966.55. This was a really good bid, about 20% under our engineer's estimate. Obviously, Haug is qualified and has worked for us in the past, and we're recommending award to them for that Well, essentially, we're accepting the bids and then authorizing or letting the city know that they can go ahead and award on our behalf for that project, since they will be administering that project.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the bid award 1C for Westlake Drive.
Second,
Second.
third,
Fourth.
All right, we have a motion by Phil, second by Richard. Any further discussion?
Jim, no, so just so we're clear, we talked about this in committee, but this is the road project only and the bike trail, right? Is the bike trail included in this? But it's not any of the amenities that the city is going to award on the beach. Those things might be running concurrently as the project is being done. So that this is just the road. And it's going to go in a few different phases too. So, I mean, that'll be good to know later on once it gets started.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
thank you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, Shane, come on up.
Could we have another break?
Nope,
Nope,
I know.
missed it.
blame George.
Well, if you give the approvals the way you did for Tierra, we won't be here long, so. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Sheriff Glander couldn't be here today. He had a funeral, so I'll be presenting on his behalf. The first item for you is Resolution 02-26-1A. It's a joint powers agreement with Becker County on behalf of both the County Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Office. This is an agreement that to maintain the county's connection with the systems that we use through the state in the BCA for all of our criminal justice data.
I had a question that I don't know if it's appropriate. Tierra might want to be here, but in the resolution on number 2, it states that the sheriff, Todd Glander, or his or her successor.
Yeah, I saw that.
So is he going through some changes that I should know about?
I saw the his or her too.
There was an announcement that he made, but I think this gives,
It
beyond
shouldn't
that.
read
Probably
her.
just
It's-
his
It should be just
successor.
his
It's
successor.
his
Because
success.
he is not a her. The successor could be a her,
Yeah.
but
Gotcha.
it refers to Todd as a his or her.
I'm guessing that was a miss on boilerplate language, so. Would you like to approve it with those changes?
Oh,
I
yeah.
would just like to
Brian,
Brian
number
also
3,
said
I was
he
gonna mention number 3 is the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't so sure about that.
I don't know if you can even ask that question.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I think we can.
Okay, with those changes, do we have a motion to approve 1A?
I'll make a motion to approve 1A with the changes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Barry, second? All right. Any further discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair. So, Carrie, would this be one of the items that you would be, there's no money involved here, it's just an agreement. Would this fall under,
This is new.
this is
No.
new? Okay, so next year, it's a recurring one. So would this be something that she would be authorized to sign as well with what we passed?
This is not a money transaction. This is.
Right.
I'd
Is
have
this-
to look at your policy language, I guess, to see how, if this falls in, but
Some agreements might need a resolution.
You know what, one thing that just really concerns me about all these contracts is that, the his, her. Oh, okay, I mean, if we don't see these things, is the attorney looking at, is somebody looking at this to make
Carrie
sure
is.
this is done?
if she's signing it, she's looking at it.
Well, the his,
Well-
her was in the resolution, not the.
Not the agreement?
Agreement.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, I get these, and we get them regularly, and
Well,
don't
we
know what
can
I'm
just,
looking
we
at
could
it.
just ask Carrie to, unless it's time sensitive, I mean, don't sign the, I mean, we can have a consensus that say, Carrie, unless something's time sensitive, bring it to the board.
Yeah.
something that happened last year was when we approved that surveyor, the county surveyor. And nobody caught it except Barry. It was a 10% escalator increase each year. I looked through it, I just kind of brushed it, okay, it's survey. I didn't catch that. We'd be paying 10% more if somebody didn't catch that. Mercifully, he did. I worry about these, not that we shouldn't do them, but that somebody's actually looking at them, because I'm not. It's 20 pages of legalese that I can't read.
Well, I mean, I think.
Does
Bill and-
anybody else have that concern?
Bill and I had a conversation, but yes, we do have, it is our obligation to read those contracts.
We
I mean,
sign off
because
on
I tell you, and here's another thing, in contract language, we can say if the county attorney approves, but the county attorney's just looking at the legal part of it.
Yep.
We are the ones that are putting the content in that legal. So, I mean, he says, yeah, I don't see any problem with it, but are the nuts and bolts, we are the ones that have to.
Madam
look
Chair,
at that.
Commissioner Nelson, I depend on my department heads that bring this stuff forward. I have to assume that they know what they're doing, and I want to support them. But
Well, I think
I'm on the hook for this, and the administrator's on the hook, and
Absolutely.
Yep.
I feel a tremendous obligation there.
Let's, maybe we can have further discussion about this at our strategic planning session tomorrow.
Well, I think we just have a consensus now. It's been made a motion that unless what we authorize is for cases where you can't get, where it's timely and I mean, if that's what you want, but we can talk about it tomorrow and just say,
Okay,
this
we have a
is-
motion on the table. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Just one point of clarification on that too. There's a small fee. It was $600 for the year
Yep.
on that
We
one, so.
talked about that.
I saw that, yeah.
Item number 2 is a out-of-state training request. One of our investigators, there's been some stuff brought before the board before on like our Cellbrite for our cell phone extractions, things like that. He's kind of becoming our technology guru, I guess you could say. So there is a federal training that he's been accepted to at the National Computer Forensics Institute. It is 100% funded, but it is out of state. It's a multimedia investigative techniques course where he would be learning the fundamentals and challenges associated with image and video analysis. So a lot of those extractions that they do
AI.
from phones and things like that. A lot of the stuff with AI now, validating that these are, correct and not AI images, things like that. Everything is paid for, food, lodging, travel, and the training is all paid. The only thing is there'd be a small fee for a rental vehicle while he's there.
We talked about this in finance. We thought it'd be about $400 maybe for the vehicle. It's funded by the Secret Service. Our only concern, I think, Erica and I were, that our deputy is here for a while to, doesn't retire the day after he gets back. And I don't know how we can change that anyway, but we wanted to make sure that information could be used in Becker County.
Yeah, if it was county money, I'd say we should have a clawback clause in there, but it's not county money, so.
Yep.
We can't tell what employment is, but he's got some years before retirement, so we feel it's a good investment into him. So.
And also too, and this is normal, but he's getting paid his regular wage to be there.
Yep.
But I just want to make sure.
All right.
Do we need approval on that?
Yeah, we
Out
need
of
a
state
motion.
travel.
Out of state travel, we do, yeah.
Oh.
I'll make a motion to approve the multimedia investigation techniques training out of state.
All right, we have a
Second.
motion. We have a second by Barry. Any further discussion?
It's actually Alabama's where he's going, so.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Any other business?
What time's our meeting tomorrow?
I was just gonna, thank you. Reminder,
8:30.
Do you have
All
an
right.
agenda?
Here.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Do we need to prep for anything? Thanks, Shane.
All right, adjourn. Are you gonna bring donuts?